Glory's also very close to dead as Faker walking forward. He needs to be more scared about this one. He still has flash. I think he's going to have to use it. Let's see whether it's actually going to be enough. As there it is, Draktar underneath the turret. Going to get pushed back, does dive away. But Gam, I think they're still going to be moving forward here. As Faker moving back in with about 50 health. I'm getting anxious as both of these mid laners are so close to death. Draktar going to front flip out of this river as Carrier moving over here.
Pagi loh ini.
Trying to create some normalcy here in this game. So Gam, 2,300 gold in the lead at almost 5 minutes into this game. As that is the bone skewer onto Ona, gets the smallest little vault breaker to get out of the way of the stun. And he will be okay for the moment. Man, T1 just need to slow this game down, and they need to slow it down now.
Gamma just not giving them a chance to. This
T1. Walaupun lawanmu adalah Gam yang
we get to see this earlier play from Glory, just hitting everything he needs there. Just catching him in the flash in to get the last bit of damage in that auto.
And just no response at all. Look at that. Just ice cold.
Laser focused.
Oh, damn. Okay, well. Gamma here to play in this early game. We'll just have to see whether it's enough, as even Jankos is losing his mind.
That's a Jankos reaction that I expect. Now they're looking for potential dive onto Doran. Gaia's level 6. Doran hits it, but he's not got Mega, nowhere near. And Neferi's so good at dives, in fact, you can drop the tower aggro. If Doran doesn't sense this, he might be in big trouble.
All right, well, Draktar is going to go in, and Doran, no flash up and available, and Kiaya is tumbling after him. That is going to be the hop on the minion wave to get himself out of there. The problem is, he's out, but he's also losing all of the farm that was left underneath the turret. He's going to lose the next wave as well. And T1, they're going to try and answer with a Drake. I just don't know whether dragons are going to be all that relevant here in this game with how much Gamma pushing this lead.
Yeah, it's such a rough spot, and the trade doesn't feel great. It's going to be over 1,000 gold lead in favor. Okay, and now they're looking to challenge, though, not giving them any space.
Yeah, that's going to be the Drake going down. As Ona down to about 50%. Gets back into his jungle, but Draktar is going to be right there behind him. See whether he can actually claim this Gromp as Faker gets himself that command protect to deal with this extra burn damage coming on through from this poison. Glory is just shoving this wave in whenever he would like to, though, and the Bone Skewer going to get charged up here by Taki. Does have a level disadvantage against Carrier right now, but isn't too worried about it for the moment, just making sure that he gets those roams out as best he can. And Artemis just dealing with Pays towards the bottom side.
So, even though the gold lead is still massive, it's now 7 minutes, not 5 minutes, which is still not great, but a bit better. It's the top side of the map that has that massive lead, so I think 41, if you want to make some plays back in return, looking at the bot side, could be an angle. That feels kind of bad because obviously you have globals on the bot side.
Oh dear, there's the shockwave coming through. Out of lockdown, Taki. And even though Glory yelled at them, T1 didn't seem to mind too much. So finally, T1 are on the board.
Just that quick, that easy to do. Faker finds a great shockwave. Although in the 1v1 without that tool, it just means he's in a tool.
But he does have friends moving over. Pays gets that weave as well. And the taunt there's the flip and Faker grabs another one. Draktar now going to have to get out of there because T1, they've got the gang together and they're looking way better now.
Big thing there, didn't include the top and jungle where the biggest deficits are, and just using that those proactive tools from T1 to make those plays. Taki just trying to play with so much confidence, not respecting the shockwave, and now seeing a return to live.
Yeah, Carrier moving over here one more time. There's a taunt flash to come on through. Season Assist comes down, and Draktar finally gets up into the sky, but it's not going to keep him alive. And they get the shutdown. It goes to Carrier. We'll see how well he can use that gold. Is now Taki going to try and transition towards his top side as Kiaya doing his best to kite out Doran. He's running in a weird direction, but he's got his friends making it way over the wall. He's going to get flanked by one, but not by the other. That's a great stun from Taki, but it's just not enough. And now T1, they've completely evened out the game. The gold lead is gone. And I guess it was just a little bit of a show at the circus at the beginning.
2,000 of that gold lead just wiped away by T1 with those proactive plays, really understanding well what they had to do. And the fact they took out Draktar, you were talking earlier about the adaptations that Vi's have to do, how you have to flash onto the Fury before he can respond. This was an example of Carrier doing that on the Chen. The flash forward doesn't give a chance for Draktar to react. He's dead before he actually goes into that W, and then here in the chase down, I love how Doran plays this, because he bounces and knocks Kiaya towards his turret, and then he just goes in the brush. He knows The only way they can turn this around is if they kill him, so he just buys time for the rest of the team to get there. Taki gets a phenomenal stun that forces Ona's flash, but isn't enough to save his top laner. And T1 back to back to back just get a handful of phenomenal plays to get them back in this game.
Look, I wasn't expecting it to be that swift. You know, the comeback here for T1. Again, with maybe, I
feel a little bit robbed. Like, if you pay for a whole circus performance, you expect it to be a bit longer. This feels like just a little introductory act. Yeah, it really was just the intro, and then we get the League of Legends afterwards, when a lot of, like, some of the T1 games are just circus the whole way, and then they find a way to win. This was, just a pre-show circus, I guess. Yeah. Which is, I think, what we're going to get as we get back to career a little bit later on. But that's a sneak preview. T1 now just going to be teleporting back towards his bottom side, with Pays making his way back down. Artemis going to be going back home. That means the T1 should be able to grab themselves some plates here as the rocks go on down. And Pays, I feel like he's been having a really good time playing all of these weird picks on the bottom side of the map, doing his best Viper impression here for T1. And I still think that T1 have the best bottom lane in the world. It's just sometimes weird stuff happens in the game. That 2v2 has been very fearsome. Obviously, this combination is not one where you're playing specifically for the 2v2 unless there's a misstep from Taki. But Pays now with the Ludens, so much wave clear available just to free him up or just stop Gam from having any pressure there, and allows Carrier to move around the map and kind of do what he wants. You can see him moving towards top lane. This is the one lane where Gam still have a sizable lead. Doran's still in a bit of a rough spot, so T1 definitely aware of that.
Faker got solo killed and now has the most gold in the game, by the way. I don't think that's very fair. As Ona is going to chase down Taki. There's the cease and desist. Going to eat the stun as the Weaver's Wall is there as well. And there is nowhere for this Pyke to go. Just bullied in his own jungle. As now Glory going to have to be really careful, trying to poison this minion wave so that he doesn't lose too many plates. But one of them is still going to go down. Drakthar is going to dive in, looking for an angle towards Faker as he does avoid the taunt quite nicely. Will be able to stop any more of those plates from falling, but the damage had already been done, and T1 moved to a kill lead.
Just seeing how T1 are linking up on these plays, so effective here. And you can see initially, it's a Pyke. Pyke, not the easiest target to pin down, but Ona says, we can do this, I can make this happen. Carrier trying to get in range, but it's this Weaver's Wall from Pays that even bumps him back to just guarantee that he goes down. Now, Gamma starting up the Dragon, but T1 are here to respond, and they're collapsing in. Taki might just be dead again.
Oh, able to dash away. As Drakthar, he is in a lot of trouble. That untargetability now on cooldown. And where did the Pyke go? I have no idea. Wait, where did the Fury go? He's also trying to do battle with this Dragon and is taken out. T1 finding another great team fight. Pays is going to get taken down, though, and Glory sinking those fangs in. And that is going to be Ona taken down. Gam able to fight it back here around the Dragon. And Doran hanging out towards his top side, happy to have a little bit of time to himself.
This is a situation where we see when the top lane, when Kiaya joins in on the play, the difference he can make this Vayne. I also think T1, they put a lot of resources into Taki, into Drakthar. Didn't have answers for the DPS of the Cassiopeia and the Vayne. This was a bit unfortunate for Drakthar. He's trying to stick around for the Dragon, ends up going in, gets bumped, and then Ona punches through the Dragon to kill him. But in the meantime, no mana on Faker here, and no real response, no CC available left for Glory and Gaia. They just charge down Ona, and it's a reminder that even though we saw those great set plays from T1, you cannot disrespect the carry potential of these solo lanes of Gam.
Yeah, exactly. And if they don't manage to get that initial salvo onto at least the Cassiopeia or the Vayne, then the DPS discrepancy between these two teams is kind of astronomical.
Oh, yeah.
So once those cooldowns are down, I think the smart money is on Gam in these later team fights. And we're seeing there that they do make that one work. Cease and desist comes down, though, as there is the flash. Miasma not really going to be helping out, though, as he sidesteps, and the flash away from Ona is going to keep this fight alive. All right, from the death chamber to immediately killing someone.
That was a delicate play, if I'm being honest, but pixel-perfect precision from Ona there to dodge away from the ultimate allows him to get the kill and get out. So good moves there from T1 once again. Now we're seeing Carrier trying to make a move up here for Kiaya.
Yeah, Kadem on cooldown for now as the final hour is going to get popped as Carrier decides not to invest the flash. And does manage to get that dodge field down. Still actually dancing around this battle quite nicely as the silver bolts really frustrating. That we'll be able to get a lot back.
That was a game of chicken right there, because Carrier knew that yaaa had flash and didn't want to commit his, wanted to bait it out, and Carrier was like, no, we'll just hold it there. That sidestep there from Ona was just flawless.
Beautifully played. So T1 with the kill advantage, 1.4K in the lead as well. And this is a composition that will age a little bit better than what the GAM comp does have. Pyke is one of these champions that feels notoriously awkward moving later on into the game.
I feel like the T1 composition generally easier to play. You have like a more robust front line. But I will say their comp is, you know, as you were saying before, all burst. And dealing with the Cassiopeia Vayne scaling may be a problem as this game goes on. That's a good point.
There's not a lot of tankiness, but there is a heck of a lot of consistent DPS.
Wow.
So maybe that'll work out here as GAM. We're going to push Ona away. They will be able to do so once again. Glory may not be so lucky as... Oh, the shockwave flat from Baze to collect the Cassiopeia. That was cute.
You know, I've seen so many champions.
I've seen a Trundle do that
as
most famously.
As a ball delivery system, but Taliyah's new.
Yeah, that's a cool one. But anything works if you've got a flash. And that is going to be that chase down. As now GAM trying to make that cross-map play towards Shelly. They should be able to grab her.
Yeah, I think the response from T1's correct. Put pressure on mid-tower. Don't fight it when you don't have your mid laner there. Give up the Herald and get mid-tier 1 and some pressure bot 2. I think T1 pretty happy with how that panned out.
Yeah, 2 turrets for a Herald feels pretty good.
I said mid laner, bot laner. It's just he's on a mage.
Nah, I think you probably get away with it.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. That is something that is just... Make it 3 turrets.
Triple tower pickup. I mean, the whole point of taking Herald is to get towers.
Yeah, I love Shelly, but I don't know whether she's worth that much.
No, I don't. Honestly, if GAM managed to get 3 towers with Herald...
That means they've taken an inhibitor.
That would be impressive, but also that would just be matching what T1 did. And considering pre-5 minutes, there was a 2,300 gold lead for GAM. We're at 16 minutes, and it's a 3,600 gold lead for T1. Oh, there's the Shen ult.
Oh dear, Doran gonna make his way in. Is yaaa trying to do some tricky stuff here? And Carrier does at least buy a little bit of space by putting down the field, and Pace is going to show up. The seismic shove goes to Narnia, but it doesn't matter. That means yaaa can't get over the wall, and that means the Vayne is dead. Nice little pick here for T1. And with all of this extra tempo, I think that gold lead is only going to expand even further than this 4,000 mark.
I feel like in the gold discrepancies, the last bastion was that top lane, but now Doran with the lead. No leads anywhere on the map for GAM right now, despite that strong early start that they had.
And I mean, we've seen this happen throughout almost all of Faker's career. Teams find early game advantages, then afterwards it just doesn't really work. It feels like any iteration of SKT or T1 has been very, very good at restabilizing as you get to the mid game. It hasn't often been at this level though, because that like deficit was massive for that time of the game. As that is going to be the Cloud Drake secured here, but the cease and desist does bring Ona over. He takes a lot of damage. Miasma, a lot of value, some money given over as the death from below does come on through. But the Weaver's Wall is going to separate the team. Artemis now on the other side, but he is left alone. And T1 unable to really get the chase down here as the Ripped Herald. Okay.
You know what? I don't think they're getting 3 towers with this. That's my hunch.
You know what? You might have spoken too soon. As we're going to get into a replay, we're just not going to watch the drifting. It's fine.
The smite, they try to go in with the damage of the smite. Just a little miscalculation. It goes to 1 HP.
Nah, udah bisa komen kalian kan.
This punish on the Ona, and then kite away with the miasma. Pretty beautifully done by GAM, and we're back to life. How many towers? 0 towers with the Herald.
Hey, she's still alive. Okay, look at her go.
Oh, kemana?
There's 1 turret that's there. You know, it's got to... Carrier, no, Carrier. Carrier.
Oh? No. We're gonna... Let me count. It's... Yeah, it's 0.
Okay. 0 yeah, thanks, Daniel.
Just need to verify.
Yeah, no. I'm glad that you can count. I failed to do so in the last game. But that's okay. At least we've got someone here that can do it on stream. Okay, Carrier now coming on over to try and defend this control ward. Taunt not going to connect there onto Taki, just barely able to get over the wall with that dash.
I feel like Taki has been playing with fire a lot this game, sometimes to his detriment, but sometimes able to bait out some big abilities.
I am impressed by his consistency though. Always going in. As Doran does hit Mega, Artemis is over here as well. As Drekthar does get stunned. Ona moves in. That is going to be the red buff, I think, taken away there by
Yeah,
Ona.
Ona able to grab that one. I honestly thought when I saw
Brutal
Dractar,
banget coy,
I was like,
satu lawan
well,
4 nih.
that's Gam's red buff, but not anymore. And
It's
you feel
supposed
the
to be.
It is. You feel the pressure mounting up. Oh, TP flank coming in right now from the Cassiopeia.
Gas nggak tuh? Taker di gas nggak tuh?
Potentially, but Carrier is on his way.
Wah, nice.
There's the taunt flash, as Carrier might be sacrificing himself unless he can get out. The Condemn actually going to be helping him escape, but the ulti from Dractar should mean the end of the Shen, and the shutdown is locked up by Taki. Faker able to walk his way out, not curtains for him just yet. And in the meantime, there is a Nah being frustrating in the bottom lane.
Yeah, we've seen this many times before, teams trying to collapse on a Faker. This time he does live.
Oh dear. I think he will cease and desist. There he goes.
Yeah, so the answer back, they get that kill mid. They also manage to get a lot of plates in the bot lane for Doran. Now has 1,000 gold lead in this top lane matchup.
Feels a bit wrong based on what happened earlier on in the game. But feels right if you just think about what T1 have done throughout, you know, this year especially, but just in general.
Just a pretty heavy commit here. I actually think Faker not having the shockwave is the only reason yaaa actually survived that engage combo. Now they're looking for him again.
Yeah, they're going to yell at him. Doesn't manage to get the stun, but Faker is still going the wrong direction. The Twin Fangs are coming on down. The flash over the taunt is beautiful, and the shutdown comes in for the Cassiopeia. Now, the Bone Skewer is going to land, and Carrier is in a lot of trouble. The Weaver's Wall is going to come on through, and he does manage to get over where it was getting set up. Nice flick back from Pace as well, but Ona going in might be a little dangerous. As Gam still have a lot of damage represented over here. The problem is, that means that Doran is in the bottom lane, and he's just going to take that turret.
Yeah, I feel like the problem is, you know, the Vayne wasn't even involved.
Wow.
And yet we're just seeing Doran constantly in the side lane making this happen. It's a bit of an issue. I think they need to respond and answer to that.
I feel like there might be a macro discrepancy between these squads right now on display.
Yeah, I think we can see while this play's happening, some good moves from Glory to get onto Faker. But you can see in the bot side of the map, Doran is forcing the Vayne away in the 1v1.
Itu CEO-nya Gam,
and that's happening, you're in a bit of a...
Bosnya Gam itu.
TK's still psyched about what's going on here. He just, he's blind to the gold advantage the T1 have put together, and every time Gam managed to pick up a kill or two, the hope is rekindled. And honestly, at this point, I mean, 3.3k, it's not exactly anything worth writing home about. And the next Drake going to be up in 30 seconds' time. T1 could grab themselves soul point off the back of that one. But Gam could also find themselves a team fight. We'll see whether they can as we have a look at this very topsy-turvy gold graph. As Gam off to a great start, that has since tipped over, as we can see here.
Looks like a slide.
Yeah, yaaa might also need to slide away from what's going on here. Season Assist comes down, Shockwave is going to be in there, and yeah, there wasn't a Vayne.
So, will they be able to make a response from this? They are looking towards the Baron, but I don't think they have the numbers there. And again, this is a super squishy composition. If you start that Baron, you're going to get massacred.
Yeah. Not much of an opportunity to do that one unscathed, and Ona is just going to come on over here and take this dragon. Will do the third here for T1, setting themselves up for that soul in 5 minutes' time. He's going to help out there with the threaded volley, and down it will go. Ona will be able to lock that one up. So gold leads abound here for T1. And I just want to go back, you know, to that time where Gam were in such a great position at the very beginning. And
those are good times.
They were good times. Things were looking competitive, and it's starting to slip away here with the Vietnamese representatives. Still, it's a decent little route as Bone Skewer is going to come on down. Carrier not actually going to get enough help here from Hayes, and Death from below is going to come in. The resets are coming down here as well. Let's see whether Taki can get another one for the answer. Looking like a no as Ona ball breaking forward. Another deadly flourish is going to land, but Faker not in any threat at this point. And so T1, they do lose Carrier. It doesn't look to be the end of the world. He is spawning again in 6 seconds.
Oh, that was so close there. And I think if they'd gotten Faker there, maybe that's when you start talking about something a bit more significant. We see the play here. It was that deadly flourish when he's against the wall and doesn't get out of the way of it in time. The follow-up from the Pike is there, and then here you can see Paige starts to move a little bit to try and cover from the Jinnel, but the Pike execute is there.
Yeah, really nicely done. So a bit of extra money there as well from the ulti out of the Pike. Taki still making moves, making things happen. 3-3-2 right now. on this Pike. As T1, I mean, it is 24 minutes into the game and they haven't started a Baron yet. This is not the T1 I know. But they are hovering around the area. Problem is, if T1 started, that's exactly what GAM want. And that might be their only way into this game, honestly. And so maybe T1 need to ignore the voices telling them to just do Baron.
I will say it is the territorial Baron. In terms of the 3 Baron types, this is not the most dangerous one, which is the Hunting Baron.
Ah, yes, true.
Which is, it's been talked the town recently. Don't mess with the Hunting Baron. So this one you can mess with.
It can't hunt you very far, though, because it is relatively stationary.
It is pretty stationary. But remember, this is what I'm looking for from League Classic. You know when you could, like, pull Baron with Blitzcrank?
Yeah, Baron with the tiniest health bar of all time. Oh, man, I missed it so much. It was so cute watching the show, man.
That was peak.
Oh, brilliant. And also, did you hear like all the new champions that are being added? So Akali and Mordekaiser into the game. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, that's a little bit of a side though, because we do have
there's a lot of
game
people
going.
Who've expressed like some sort of just deep-rooted love for Mordekaiser.
I know, and not all of them are Brazilian.
Yeah,
which is interesting to me. I thought I was the only one. Okay, Pace in a little bit of trouble here as Taki bounces forward. There's the shutdown, but he might be taken out as well. And there it is, a 1-for-1 trade. Pays for Taki. Glory yells at Nonton. The ulti comes through. The shockwave comes down, but it's flashed by Drakthar. And now, bunch of these buttons on cooldown. Maybe it is time for GAM to find an angle. They are not going to be fighting the Baron. They are just going to pull themselves back.
That is a play where I think
T1
in trouble maybe.
Yeah, Doran is going to move on over here.
So I think that was a play that kind of shows you kind of disrespect GAM. There is that peak potential as they managed to get Pays the big shutdown. But some pretty chaotic follow-up to this one. This play initially was good, but Taki ends up getting chunked so heavily before he gets that initial kill. And then I was kind of panicking when Drakthar ulted here, and I'm like, oh! The flash out was pretty good to save him from that situation. And they also get Faker's flash. So Faker's flash being down, definitely something you can punish. He doesn't have a Seeker's Arm Guard yet. Maybe that's an avenue when we look towards this next Dragon fight. If you just kill Faker off the bat, T1's composition, they are ahead. They have a lot of damage because of that, but they don't have the most DPS. If you kill their mid laner, maybe that's an avenue into the game.
Yeah, and I mean, DPS is exactly what GAM have in spades. The problem is the durability is not quite there.
Doesn't it feel crazy to say that this composition is DPS when it has Jhin on it? Doesn't that just hit a little bit?
It does, but I just ignore the Jhin. And then I notice that, like, you know, there's even a Pike in the bottom lane, but Vayne Cassiopeia are enough by themselves. But they're also then augmented by everyone doing damage, even Jhin a little bit.
At least it's the Jhin, but it's not the Storm Razor as well as the Ghost Blade and the Rapid Fire. He's got the LDR.
He has gone third item LDR. It's not my personal favorite, but it's fine. And I will be getting a lot of work done. Probably going towards the Infinity as item number 4.
I would hope so.
And the Jhin will be doing a lot of damage there. Also has Swifties. I do really like that. Being able to get into position quite comfortably. And is right now just picking up some waves here in the mid lane as GAM. They're on the Baron.
They're trying to pull them away from the Dragon. Obviously, would be sold for T1 if they can get it, but they're trying to force him to contest them here at the Baron. And again, this territorial Baron not doing a ton of damage. The abilities are quite telegraphed, so...
Oh, Kiai is making his way over. There's the teleport in from Doran. And this should
Stop
be going down. That is going to be secured by Drakthar. They might give him up for the Ghost. So they've taken the Baron off the rip. That is gigantic. Kiai trying to keep himself alive, but the damage is being done, and T1 saying no one takes out Baron.
What a swift punish there. And I think T1 happy to slowly approach. Shockwave flashed away from. They don't rush into it. They know that GAM had the members there, but the cleanup afterwards means they get soul, they get a ton of gold, and Baron buff this year is weaker than ever before. I mean, look at that Baron power play. Minus 2,200 already.
Yeah.
I think we're putting this in the not weird column.
I'm going to throw it there as well. There is also going to be a soul picked up at the same time as they lose an inhibitor turret and an inhibitor. And yeah, losing a fight after a Baron is absolutely devastating, because then not only do you lose the Barons, but you also then lose your entire base. It is very problematic. And they won't have very many of them to try and pull back in this game. The only positive is that at least T1 can't get it.
Yeah, that's something.
They now have Cloud Soul, though.
Yeah, and that extra mobility, honestly, pretty hard to deal with. Especially, you know, if you throw the miasma down, that extra movement speed is going to get you out of it quicker. That passive movement speed that is available with that.
Whoa,
Oh, not to mention, like, Carrier with Cloud Soul. Like, Shen with Cloud Soul is kind of crazy because you just book it immediately after joining a fight.
Yeah.
All right, well, T1 now just going to be looking for this one to flash forward. And the Stands United has come in, but it is not going to stop Taki from taking out this yaaa. That is a little bit taken out of the wind, a little bit of wind taken out of the sails, sorry, of T1 here as they go for their push on the bottom side of the map.
And it'll just disrupt them, slow down the pace of the game a bit, but
wait, first Gam turret. There it is. Some bounty gold.
Oh, Pays is coming. Oh, with the channel.
Yeah, okay, there's the delivery. I thought Standard United had actually come in before, but it actually didn't, I guess, because here is Carrier now.
That seemed pretty easy, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, Season Assist is going to get blocked here, but he does close the distance, finds the Vault Breaker, and Drakthar.
Oh, nice.
He does get Ona pulled away, but then the flash is going to finish him off, and that's a solo kill, actually, for this Vi.
Ona's just so fast. You know, after he ulti gets cancelled, he just runs him down with the Cloud Soul. 2,300 gold ahead in that jungle match. 7-4-4. Ona, after a not ideal start, able to bounce back massively this matchup.
He really did. Gam just unable to keep that same level of aggression, or they did, but T1 were able to punish it, and now they are well and truly on the ropes. Second inhibitor is going to fall. Only a couple of plates left on that bottom side. Shockwave is good. Pulled back and destroyed here by T1. Taki now looking for a bit of an angle. I mean, these resets could be possible because these health bars are getting low, and the curtains are being called. Bone Skewer, the flash doesn't quite work, but the fourth bullet will, as it takes down Carrier and pushes away T1. But the base is in shambles.
Why is it always the sports?
What?
They're the always the ones left in the wreckage.
They don't have a lot of money to buy the items that keep them alive, nor do they have any levels at all.
They're also just selfish, you know.
That is true. That is true. Right, T1 still in a phenomenal position, though. 5.2k gold in the lead.
I can see the future. I think this is a dead vein.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, let's see whether that is going to remain the future, and it looks like it's not. So he's meant to change his fate.
Yeah, he changed it. Good job. This is a dead vein, actually. Sorry. I guess
you did. You saw a different future. Sometimes you just don't know what you see.
Yeah, not much outplay potential there, if I'm going to be honest. That was pretty straightforward. But then here, Ona ults and he gets cancelled. But look how fast he's running him down. And Neferi is such a hard target to pin down. But you can just
It's like right-clicking is a dash. It's very annoying. As there's the Shockwave after the dash cannon. Faker, really nicely done for that pick onto the Cassiopeia, who did not quite hit the ulti to land any of those stuns. So T1 looking pretty good right here.
Hey!
That's very cute. Get a kiss cam. No, we had one of those here at EWC.
Hey! I played it.
All right.
Hey!
Glory and Artemis catching waves here in this mid lane. We do have a push from the bottom side as well, coming out from Doran. Trying to lock down this last remaining inhibitor turret.
Seeker's arm guard now for Pays. Tricky target. They go for Faker.
Yeah, they're just looking for the all-in as they do manage to avoid the seismic shove. Doran is just kiting this one out, though, and there is the Shockwave once again. Taunt comes through. Glory. It's the three-man ulti from Doran, though. And a godlike Vi comes in, piloted by Ona, and they just wipe them out. The ace for T1. That's going to be the end of the game, and after a brilliant start from Gam, T1 just obliterate them.
Absolute decimation. The ult from Doran, who's had a pretty quiet game other than being in the side lane. He just grabs 3 members of Gam and presents them to the rest of T1. T1 will take that first Nexus of the tournament. And after a little bit of a rough 5 minutes, a very decisive rest of the game.
Oh, yeah. And, man, a very classic T1 performance here as well, starting the show at exactly the way we wanted them to here at EWC 2026. Gam's certainly looking good in those early stages, though. We'll see whether they can keep themselves alive in the tournament, and we can see some more of these crazy comps.
I'll be honest, that first 5 minutes for Gam, some of the best performance I've seen from any team this whole year.
Yeah.
What happened after though?
Cut the video.
So I think if they can kind of work on from 5 minutes onwards, they've already nailed that first 5 minutes, but everything else maybe just needs a little bit of work. I will say though, they kept trying to find angles in, they kept trying to challenge, kept trying to look for opportunities, never gave up in the game. Looking at challenge T1, but T1 just kind of felt a little bit inevitable after they made those big comebacks, and the team play, the coordination, setting up those picks to get that goal lead back in their favor just felt really smooth from T1.
And now it is time to throw it on over and hear from the stage.
Thank you guys, I'm super glad and honored to welcome yaaa, the prodigy, on stage. Kelia Sunso, Signy Chkaeo. Congratulations for this victory, of course. What I wanted to ask you is that you were facing a Pyke in this game, and we know that it has been your go-to champion for quite a while now. So what are your tips for being a great Pyke?
사실 파이크가 캐리안 선수의 시그니처 픽 중 하나인데 이제 이번 매치에서는 상대방 선수가 이제 타키 선수가 이제 고르게 됐는데 사실 그래서 어떻게 보면은 파이크 전문가로서 좀 팁이 하나 있다면 파이크 팁을 어떤 거를 좀 주실 수 있을까요?
일단 좀 파이크를 잘 알아가지고 상대하기 좀 편했던 것 같고 많은 유저분들이 또 파이크 할 때 팁 같은 거는 그냥 잘 숨어 다니는 거인 것 같습니다.
Yeah, it's been very comfortable because I know that champion like so well. So that being said, my advice to the people to play, you know, Pyke, I think, just to hide, hide everywhere. Try to not to be seen.
I think it's a very good advice indeed. Donc il a affronté un Pyke dans ce match-up et on le sait, c'est un de ses champions du moment. Donc est-ce qu'il a un petit peu un conseil à donner? Bah effectivement, c'est un agent que j'aime, un champion pardon que j'aime beaucoup. Donc effectivement, faut tryhard là-dessus pour être fort.
All right, so you enjoyed a very successful start here at EWC. You're coming right off the back. No rest from MSI here to Paris. It wasn't the tournament that you hoped for in South Korea. What were some of the lessons that you learned from some of the other teams that were competing at that
Someone will come to my house.
네, 일단 오늘 순조로운 출발에 파리에서 하게 되셨는데 지난주에 바로 MSI 일정을 또 소화하셨잖아요. 그래서 또 MSI에서는 좀 아쉽게도 좋은 성적을 거두지는 못했지만 그래도 MSI에서 이제 상위권 성적을 거둔 팀들을 좀 보면서 배운 게 있다면 좀 어떤 점이 있을까요?
일단 MSI에서 저희가 좀 일찍 탈락했지만 그래도 상위권 팀들이 계속 경기하는 거 보면서 저희가 또 EWC에서 어떻게 하면 잘할지 계속 연구하면서 경기를 계속 받고 결승전까지. 그래서 그냥 상위권 팀들이 지금 메타에서 어떻게 잘 게임을 풀어나가는지 잘 보면서 이해하려 했던 것 같습니다.
Yeah, definitely we got knocked out early. So that being said, we try to pursue to follow the meta and how we followed the game through the finals. So we just watched through and analyze how the other teams analyze the meta. So yeah, I think that in that way we try to adjust as much as possible.
Effectivement, le MSI s'est pas passé comme prévu. On a été éliminé assez vite, donc ça nous a donné l'opportunité d'observer et d'analyser et de s'adapter aussi à la nouvelle méta pour revenir évidemment plus fort pour le WC. Thank you very much for joining us, Keria and Maddox, Kamsahamnida. And before we get to the next match, stay with us because we're gonna head to the next game in a few. See you there.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Throws down that true shot barrage. Look at Knight on the flank.
Gila, enak ya, banyak ini. Memang grup berdarah ini semuanya.
Look for a little bit more on, lands the hook. Is going to be enough as they send a little bit more forward. Not just good, but this just taken out. Jojo knocks them down. Look at all the damage. Look at this. They're on the back line. Viper, he's getting it done. It is Soul Point now, heading over for BLG. Now they need to turn this fight or run away as they're dashing forward. Mkoi, they're looking to make moves, but BLG decide it's worth staying back.
It is Knight tries to back out. That was on the flank, got zoned off a little bit, but again, it's a little messy, but they did get Soul Point, and because Mkoi were a little late to the play, didn't manage to get in there, and Yoya traded his life with Ons. It's a win again for BLG, and now you're in the catch-22. You're down Soul Point, Viper ghosting in, just have to back away. That got a little spicy, but holds onto that mid lane turret critically. Knight, hang on. Alvaro just about able to dodge away from the Shuriken flip, and Knight a known quantity now.
Oh, look, Knight is here, just playing in the jungle, living in the darkness, but it is still BLG now trying to get this vision around the Baron. We keep coming back to it. It's been up for 7 minutes. No team is able to lock it down first. Super is just a little bit too low. They need to reset here, and Shun could potentially look for a play because it's just low enough to lock it down. And this could be the hit. Super! It's going to go over. Super's able to arcane shift over the wall, stays alive a little bit longer.
It's the flash down though, and this is the cooldown economy we talk about. LPL teams play for this all the time. Between objectives where your ultimates are less important, you look to blow things like flashes from mid laners, from AD carries, because guess what? Then you don't have it for that soul fight. Then you don't have it for that Baron fight. And considering how obnoxious, how problematic the Ezreal has been for BLG to lock down consistently, that's a big win as far as I'm concerned.
Big thing there though, it is an Ezreal. You have the arcane shift, you can dash away still, but as long as you lock them down, you have a Nautilus. The dredge is going to be pretty good. So you have to be super careful with that as well. But big power spikes starting to come in. Knight with a shadow flame of all things is going to be blasting out of the water.
It is indeed, and then we've got that popping up there as well. Very, very dangerous indeed. And the thing is, look, yes, you've got the arcane shift, but you've still got to deal with depth charge, dredge line. You've got Akali diving in with all of her mobility, rocket belts, and perfect executions, and public executions as well from Ambessa. Lee Sin coming from a flank angle. Gets very, very difficult. You've only got the one dash to help out with that. Sure, Super with a magical journey, with a locket, with a tempered fate. You've got some tools to potentially defend your AD carry, but that is going to be easier said than done. Baron is up. No team has really started that, but it is MKoi in control of that top side of the river right now. Couple minutes until Soul a possibility for BLG, and the gold is practically dead even at this point of the game. We are 29 minutes in, and it is 700 gold that separates these two squads.
Which I don't think a lot of us expected this to go. We all thought BLG was going to come in and just blast their way through, but no, MKoi doing a really good job. They're facing a crowd. They're in the catacombs, but they are holding on, and they're finding the light. Let's just see if they can get into the land and outside.
Exactly that. And again, I don't think it's necessarily that BLG have been playing poorly. They've actually made some good moves. There's some really good side lane solo kills. But I think then the way I want to phrase it is that I think MKoi have stepped up. They have delivered, and they are looking like a good team. Here, let's game one. Viper looked for the pick. Can't quite get it, and we are playing for river control. Again, Dragon is a little ways off, but that seems to not matter right now as Alvaro in the river. Bin split off. Viper had to flash there. He's down that one. That's pretty huge. Joya goes in. Shun gets a skull grab. But the execution is going to be Temper Fate is going to be a big deal. Keep Joya safe. But the Mayan for me. Is going to fail flash over the wall. And Knight gets the kill. It's traded. Both junglers down. Knight needs to rocket bell away as Jojo Pyun on this. And Nivea continues to flash freeze everyone who dares get into a choke point.
You cannot enter the Glacial Storm without losing a couple toes. Ben did try to catch out Mirror in there, but no, wasn't enough. But still,
aku berharap MKoi menang, tapi BLG sih, BLG T1 sih masih bakal enak sih.
Two members were kill shot ready.
T1 masih besok mainnya
big
guys.
Play. Let's watch the replay here as well. You can see it was trying to be started on, wanted to make that move, but everything just got in the way. Walls, snowstorms, it was just not enough. And it was Shun who did get the nice little scuttle crab. So not the end of the world. It's all about that vision control like we talk about. But now it's all about starting these fights and straight into the back line. And that public execution was great.
The Tempered Fate bought a lot of time, but again, Alva went flashing for Q, could land it. Then Shun gets a little bit caught there, but they do bring down the jungle. If it had been Yoya there, there was a very real world where they could have turned that into Baron. But Jojo, he's picked up so many kills. It's just doing an absolute boatload of damage. Super's now got a fourth item as well. Knight landed a Shuriken flip and couldn't continue the damage, which was very problematic. I think this Ezreal is still going to be a menace here, and it's still going to remain a very contentious game, to say the least of it.
100% initialized. It is going to be big as the Dragon now spawns. It is Soul Point for BLG. This is going to be a big fight.
Eyes on some of the summoners missing. Viper, no flash. On, no flash. Super, still no flash. Alongside, frankly, the majority of them.
And this is going to be the
ya, T1 udah menang. SK udah agak telat sih, T1 udah menang.
Here they go.
Tapi nanti G2 sih maksudnya.
Tempered Fate hits the Dragon, but they're on the back
Tapi
line.
seru ya, asli.
Trying to hold back. Shadow Shot's not enough. They did lock it down. It has been picked up. Ocean Soul locked in for
sakit
BLG. Now they just need
banget,
to
damage
recover.
sumpah
They need to
loh.
move back and stay on the
Ezreal
back.
sakit,
No,
coy.
it is MKOI looking for more. 6 on the back.
Ih.
It's good. Alvaro.
Oh.
It's on. It's all through.
Ezreal
It's
sendiri tuh.
all that Shiro. They're getting
Hey.
it. And look at
Oh.
that go. He wants
naik.
Jojo in the egg. It's time to
Naik.
scramble up some burn.
Lagi
It's gonna
naik.
be a little bit much,
Maju
but they're
dong,
still
maju
so
dong.
Miasma's going out.
Maju
They're
dong.
locked down a
Iya,
little bit
maju
longer. Knight
dia.
doesn't have the energy. Looking for more Jojo.
Dapat tuh.
He's low. Wants more.
Ah, dapat.
Gets everything.
Rata,
Shiro.
anjir.
Knight
Wah,
wants blood.
diratakan.
He's got the sword. He's got
Wah,
the shield. And he
triple
takes
kill.
MKOI
Oh, enggak.
for a ride.
Oh, it's
Gila.
superb stuff. You want to win
Lo tau gak League of
EWC?
Legends tuh enak
You're
gimana?
gonna need to
Enaknya
crack
adalah
a few eggs.
lu gak akan
Jojo
expect
finally
mereka
falls.
picknya
The
buat mid
Ocean
atau
Soul
buat
value
bot
in
atau
the
buat top.
extended fight is monstrous.
Semua
They've
bisa
got a
dipakai,
wave
kan?
waiting for them top. That will at the very least
Contoh
be
lah
an
itu
inhibitor.
Viper.
And
Viper
that
itu
is
kan pakai
such a big
Cassiopeia
turn
nama
of the
champion
game.
kan
What
nama
was
hero-nya.
a 500
Itu aslinya
gold
mid, coy.
differential
Tapi dia
was
dipakai di
now
bot.
5.4k.
The thing is, there's 30 seconds on the wave clear. BLG smell blood in the water.
Rata.
Maybe a little bit of that omelette frying, eh?
Udah
Towards
sih,
the Nexus
menang
turret
ini.
they go. Tempered Fate buys
Menang
some
sih
time.
ini.
Joya
Menang.
and Alvaro
Menang
must
BLG.
stop the onslaught, but Billy Gaming
Ya,
will
fight
take
aja.
no prisoners here. And MKOI, they fought well, they fought hard, but they will
bisa.
bleed
Nggak
out,
bisa.
drowned by Ocean Soul wearing. Billy Gaming.
And this is why
Billy
they're one of the
Gaming.
best. Yes, MKOI took them for a ride, but it was not enough. Sadly, that ride came to an end in this best-of-1 series. And wow, BLG came in with the goods.
MKOI
They
turun ke bawah.
really think. To be honest, I want to give serious
Pilih,
credit to
pilih
MKOI.
Gaming.
That was a game that I think a lot of people on paper were going to go, MKOI scraped it.
Tiba-tiba MWI anjir.
They were
Tapi
kind
gue
of
bisa
an
bisa
extra.
nonton MWI sih, gak apa-apa. Tiba-tiba pindah streamnya ke MWI coba. Apa maksudnya? P maksud. Lu masih bisa nonton MWI gak sih? Harusnya bisa sih.
Where that priority was, the vision was good, the team fights were clean, and it was all on being
Tiba-tiba nih, MWI. Apa ini terang?
They're both at risk today. They're both in that elimination bracket, so they could be going out of the competition.
Thankfully, that is not necessarily applicable to our stage because we don't have them competing, but it is good to know where these teams are currently standing. That's it from us for the Club Championship point. See you guys later.
Gue masih bisa nonton MWI loh. MWI itu ada nggak? Lihat orangnya. Mana ya?
O que você botou?
Oh, ini.
Mid. Mid C. For me,
Mobile
mid's
Legends,
just
Mobile
easy.
Legends
ADC is also
every
easy,
time
but
I
I'm
talk
like,
about MWI,
on competitive, maybe not so much.
MWI.
In League, I think is ADC because you kind of just need to hit and do damage.
Ada nggak
People
ini?
just
Yang gak bisa tuh Dota, gue bisa. Free Fire gak bisa. Nah, MWI coba. MWI apa lawan apa sekarang?
And this is not even mentioning
Twisted Mind
the
lawan.
meta staple that is Zushin.
Oh yeah.
Who's to say? Who's to say? What if they switch up and they're the ones who don't? I mean, if you're gonna take away the Matilda, then you don't Barats anymore, right?
Yeah.
So that means it allows for the opponents to
bisa
kind of play a
dua-duanya,
little
guys.
more in
Bang,
your
izin
face.
keluar dulu bang.
And when you have
Yo,
an in
jadi
your face
sekedar
line at
dan
the
jauh
face,
jauh jauh
what if you
jauh.
go Zushin?
See you
That's something I'm
next time.
expecting.
Jangan
from
lupa
Zaz.
subscribe
Yeah,
ya.
you're right.
Sekedar
7 to 8
konten,
heroes.
sekal
It's a
sekal
very
sekal.
solid arsenal.
Yeah, we also have to consider, like,
Oh,
what
yeah,
if they
it's
still
good
force out the Barats
that
anyway?
just-
What will be
MWI,
the other
MWI,
thing that helps? Because
MWI.
one of the things that Matilda helps out is speed. So I wonder if they will commit to something like a Rafaela, you know, slow down the enemy, make the Barats faster, and hopefully that's enough.
They beat the Rafaela yesterday.
Yeah.
Eh,
I mean, like, here's the thing. Rafa, I think, has a spot. She's niche, but if you're able to get a good draft around her, then it's going to be looking pretty good. But the only problem is Rafa does not like to go up against assassins, because if she
Yes,
dies
true.
first, then the entire lineup just crumbles. Like, all lineup that has a healer, once the healer is not there,
Twisted
all
Mind
of a sudden your
lawan.
big win condition is gone.
A hero that I'm
Oh,
excited to see, even with
GCT.
the rampant
Tim Vitality main lagi main gak?
Esmeraldas,
Vitality gimana
is
nanti?
Angela.
Angela.
Because what if you're able to in red?
Let's go Cincau.
Nah.
Ya,
Red
dah.
4, right? You
Balik
get
ke
Esmeralda.
League of
Or
Legends.
red 3, you get Esmeralda. And then you go Angela 5? Isn't that crazy?
That's going to be nasty. That's gonna be super nasty.
No one can
because
stop you.
And you have options. You don't always have to go for the junglers. You can go for the EXP or the gold, because right now it really does look like a meta where different parts of the map can carry.
Yep. As long as, again, you take care of the Esmeralda.
Yeah.
If it's banned or you have it on your side, by all means, experiment.
I'm gonna double down. Esme and
EXP, like it was like
and Angela.
No.
Now that's
okay.
That's kind of a one-woman army.
You are asking for it. That's the equivalent of what Virtus Pro did in Game 2.
Exactly.
Scaling heroes, that's the double support.
At that point, it's like, do we want to go in? It's like, don't ask, just do.
I don't know if there's like
Give me the movement speed, I'll get there. I'll get there. So now,
trust. I will heal you. Trust the shields.
Right. Even Osprey, man, I only saw him once in the lounge. Haven't been able to talk to him, but he's a mainstay in international MLBB for a long time.
Hey, if you're gonna have an ECA Mount Rushmore for MLBB,
yes.
Let's go, Ching Chao.
Speaking of, now we are jumping into draft here. Dangerous Grass. Looks like Geltic Cyber Team will be the first pick, as well as Tutsamine being on a second. And there you go, Matilda band.
You know what? I have to reconsider.
All right,
because team spirit is a thing. So. That's a tight Mount Rushmore.
Hey, we can have more mountains. Just go somewhere else. I don't know. Either way, at least the Marcel has been banned out.
This makes sense.
Yeah, honestly, being on red, I don't think it's necessary for you to ban a Hirara. So far, I think if you're going up against Kyo, you have to respect it.
Yeah, just think about it. Maybe red 3. If you see the bans coming through from the blue side, Coach Nasdo can hold it all the way down. Oh, never mind, red 2. Why not?
So right now, this gives the benefit of both coaches, because one series is enough to really understand their power picks and their batting accordingly. Right? This is more. It feels more targeted rather than just, oh, this is wrong in the meta, we're taking it away.
And that's important in this kind of metagame where you're really just taking away comforts. Especially, it's a big plus. If it's a comfort plus a meta, you don't need to play it safe. I mean, just play it safe. You don't need to take any risks. Just take it away.
I don't know if they're going to go so far in comfort that they will try a 1-1 again.
Yeah.
It was okay-ish, but I really feel like a different pick might have made the game a little bit easier for the team.
Yeah, but seeing how the 1-1 was like yesterday, if she really doesn't have the same impact as she did, yeah, Chicha was able to land some great crossbow attacks, but you're wondering, you're looking at the ultimate, you're seeing how much health is going down, you're wondering, is that really just it?
And then when you go down, you die anyways.
Yeah, it's like once you're down, it's like, oh, you get popped.
A couple of times it was a close call. I thought that they were going to lose because Chin Cha was caught out.
Yep.
So, yeah, definitely teams can time out that cleanse. Opening pick for Geltec. Hirara's taken out. I don't think he'll commit to an assassin yet. Don't do it. Not here.
I wonder if Esme is first pickable or the Belleric.
I think I'm okay with Esme.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like both should be okay. We haven't seen Belleric so far, but they go for the Esme because what are you going to do? Go die off?
Here we go.
I mean, why not?
Why not? I mean, it's not elimination.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. We posed the possibility yesterday, and we haven't seen it yet.
I wouldn't do it in red 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I might do it in red 4.
Of course. Not now.
I feel like Twisted needs to get that carry because carry is also another hero that can deal with the Esme. Yeah. So
please pick the carry so we don't have to see die off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing now, though. Since Twisted Minds, you only got to see them with the Matilda and Barretts. We don't know how they're going to be like in other compositions. We don't know how they're going to be like playing a different playstyle. We've only seen them play one specific thing, and they made it work. I think now, Geltec seeing the carry, it's okay to just pick up the backshot at this point. Sorry, backshot, Belleric. And then take a page out of another team's book that ran it yesterday. I think it was Galaxy Phoenix, paired up with a Guinevere.
Yeah. Or, you know, Eve is still open.
Oh, yeah, Eve against carry. Yeah.
So you can go Eve,
Belleric.
Eve Belleric, Eve Guinevere.
Oh, they go for the gourd.
Range is range.
Yeah.
And the Belleric.
So far, pretty good opener coming in from Galtech Cyber Team, but this is what Twisted Mind has said. If you pick up a gourd, we will pick up a Kagura. It looks like they're going for the Lilia here just to be able to deal with the Belleric as well as the Esme. Really smart drafting coming in from Coach Nasdaq as well as Osprey.
Not to mention, I think Black Shoes is a neutralizer to the Gush.
Yeah.
Because you could sit in front of it for like 3 seconds and never mind.
Yeah, you're essentially like I remember from what we saw yesterday is that Gush, Black Shoes, and then the divers on the other team. In this case, is the Esmeralda. She's waiting. She's like, once you see the Black Shoes is gone, then you go in. But you're dependent on waiting for the Gush, meaning that there's time for Twisted Minds to react to it.
It's more like a I know you know.
Yeah.
So what do we do?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that right now for Twisted Mind, they really have a diversity of damage output, right? They have Shred, they have very good early game damage with the Lilia, as well as having the Boxia, you know, like
T1, DLG, and
he can still dish it out in the first 3 minutes of the game, and can really help you get a kill onto this Belleric, which I feel like is gonna be part of the idea that Twisted Mind wants to do. Take care of the front lines.
Aren't you guys worried though that Twisted Minds might not have enough reach facing into a Belleric and an Esmeralda? It seems like they're a little bit more mid-rangey. That seeing how, of course, the amount of area that gets covered by the Wrath of Dryad, and then you have the Falling Star Moon, and you have what Gord has, it does answer, and they do have the damage profile, but it might just be at the cost of them risking losing everything.
Also, the risk of the lack of re-engage.
Yeah. Kind of all-in-y.
Yeah, because look, Black Shoes most likely pulls you back. Baksha's Unite only pulls you in. If you put a flicker on the carry, then sure, there's one, because you can dash in and then flicker back, but likely, looking at what Geltech's doing and knowing them as a Davai team, they want more crowd control. So I'm looking at Daisy, she might Purify.
Yeah. Which comes to the question, what will be the roamer here? Because I feel like if you want to go in and out, you need some kind of healer.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to go for that, but if that's the case, I'm looking like, you know, Rafa will actually Angela is not going to be great. Florin is going to be okay.
Just Florin, Rafa.
Estes is not bad because Estes gives you armor as well as magic resist, which helps with Baxia's passive, minimizing the damage, but I don't think you need to go that far.
Yeah, because again, it adds more answers to some problems that they have, but it adds even more problems, and then their mid-range stack gets all clumped up together just to play around the Estes. So it's like they're playing off of like, what are we willing to lose to make this work?
Right now, also, they don't have a lot of crowd control.
Yes.
One of the OG ways to deal with the Esme is the Uranus, but if you go for that, then
no
crowd control.
So do you think they might just go glue Roam or glue XP?
I feel like at
glue Uranus.
What are the other counters? I guess technically Hanabi, but I'm still not too hot on Hanabi. She's alright.
Glue, yeah.
She's alright.
Potential flex pick, we're not really sure where it goes.
I wonder if they want to play what you call this?
Di ko boleh WC nonton soalnya.
Iya sih. Nah itu nanti kita bakal lihat juga ya, karena memang untuk
beda tim anjir. Oh iya, tim Falcon ID ya. Nanti kita pindah ke stream B sebelum masuk ke game League of Legends.
The jungle. That is definitely confirmed to be in the jungle unless you put the
Jincao. MWI stream A. MWI stream A.
Back down to the fundamentals once again, and as we take a look into the drafting phase so far, we are seeing quite an array of bans. We do see the meta bans come to play, the Marcel that really hasn't seen the light of day come MWI, especially here on stream A. Phoveus and Guinevere respect bans, I believe, especially for the Guinevere. They are trying to eliminate that because it was one of the win conditions coming in from Aurora. Hirara, Matilda, and the Atlas to boot.
And it just makes the Zushin stocks go up just a little bit, right? Don't have to worry about the Marcel, especially the Atlas. Like, there is an angle for Zushin here if they wanted to, but they can easily start pivoting into other areas, right? That's where I want to see where Team Falcon's mind is at. Are they looking to play for the overall composition, or are they looking for just star players to win this entire game single-handedly?
And sometimes when we look at all these teams, they usually go back to that. They usually go back to the star players. They usually go back to the comfort picks. but it does look like the Yves is going to be prioritized here instead of that Jushin.
Sorry guys, League of Legends prioritas.
Campaign. They lost Tabe this year. And I think the biggest change up for me is the fact that they don't have that direction, that insane drafting that we saw last year that we were talking about non-stop at the Esports World Cup.
That is something that has been, I feel like, a point of conversation in general. It's like Tabe made sure to
Melawan
keep
D
them
plus
together,
Kia.
and then he peaced out. And then there's just so many question marks, right? Like, why do you keep... He brought the team together, kept it together, but now he's no longer there to facilitate
Maybe
that
he
craziness,
got bored.
right?
I mean,
Of
changes
them?
like the win. No, because he comes on board. He has these little projects and he just disappears. He did the same thing with BLG. He's like, okay.
Give me a harder roster.
That's right.
That's too easy. And then he went and called Vampire. I get it.
I mean, I completely get it. But we're not here to talk about Tabe. Obviously, AGAL versus DK is only going to be a best of one. Which, for a lot of people at home, is a shame, but it is just going to be showing you who is worthy enough to move on. I mean, today is just going to be quick sticks, right? Like, our first day, we're already going to have someone eliminated. We need to find out who the best is as we're about to go into draft and see what this best of one has to offer in the same MSI
The
pack.
best part here is that one of those teams is going to face whoever's lost on that bracket as well. And this is kind of like the two giants already of the group. So good luck whoever's in the lower bracket, who's going to be facing AJL or D plus Kia. It's going to be a pretty tough one.
Yeah, it will be the loser of G2 and Furia as well. As a quick reminder for you, in this Group A, the winner will go on and verse the winner of that matchup. So, I mean, again, we could have a G2 or Furia versing one of these guys. It's a really hard group. I think it's one of the hardest groups because...
I feel like the MKOI group is pretty tough as well.
Yeah, that's also pretty tough.
They've got T1 and BLG.
Yeah, and...
and GAM.
Yeah,
who almost beat T1.
Their early game wasn't bad. And remember that lower bracket as well, that's a best of 3. Which I absolutely love. And so is the matchup from the lowest losers bracket, the second qualifier of that same
We're just getting the quick games out of the way, sort of, so we can structure the teams a little bit skill-wise off of that best of one, and then we're moving straight into best of 3s later on today.
So are there any picks as we go into draft, and that's about to pop up on your screen, any picks that stand out big? Because I feel like so far, Orianna, which has been taken away with the Nocturne, has been my one to watch, with the Ziggs now banned away from DK.
I feel like we've got cooks over in the top lane. Flandre brought out things like the Rek'Sai and the Yorick last year, and then he bled out internationally. And see, he's picking Laui and Tristana with Exhaust over the top side of the map. So I feel like top lane is going to be a big point on the map where we can look at to see all those weird picks coming out. Because we already have like a lot of weird picks in the bot lane now with mages, but can AL keep up with that?
That's the biggest question, isn't it? As we revisit one of the most banned in MSI in the end, which was that Poppy. It's going to be taken off the board as a final ban here from DK. AL have first pick. Even being on the red side here, they chose first pick. That Casio today, I mean, that is from what I've seen, Trouble every single game so far. Casio has just been that solid mid laner that, again, we continue from MSI.
I feel like there's two picks. Currently, the mid lane, Cassiopeia is pretty much the queen of mid, because the counter picks is just not that strong for her. And Anivia top lane. Anivia top lane is pretty free for a lot of those.
It's a great flex as well, right?
Exactly. One is flex into 3 roles, not even just 2. And 2, I don't think there's any counter picks to Anivia top lane, at least. Well, these two might have found something, because they are chefs, as we mentioned.
Jace. Go deep into it. I mean, the Jace might be a future side pick as well. Also technically a flex, but for now we're going to see this. But it's also is Shiwu as well, right? This pick constantly taken away from him. They say don't give Shiwu Jace. Well, it's been given over by AGL in this best of 1.
However, Flandre is one of the best Yoricks in the world. And we do know that Yorick
Flandre jago Yorick.
That's why I fear that DK might have an ace up their sleeve in terms of flexing that.
Kita juga nggak nonton HLE,
so we'll see. Well, mid is not going to be the case because Showmaker has locked in his Syndra, but it could potentially be something like a jungle. If not, I'm pretty positive that a Yorick could come out right here for Flandre.
I do also think, just on the note of the Syndra before we move on, into the Cassiopeia, it has been one of the most popular options. You have the range. Also, jungle pairings right now, these bruises work so nicely when you have this AP heavy mid. Vi is going to be taken away as a potential one of them to partner with it from Tarzan, at least the Hopper for now, but with the Cassiopeia, this feels likely,
We do have a lot of range on the side of DK. So Vi does amazingly well at closing down that range with her ultimate, but also unit follow-up. I really like the Ezreal coming through from Hope, one of the best Ezreals in the LPL currently. So locking that in, making sure that you can follow up artillery-wise on top of the Vi ult. And it is going to be a Camille hover right here, not quite the case. As we'll be flicking through, it is going to be a match in the jungle, however, and Lucid is gonna pick that Shinzao. I mean, it works well. This champion can buy so much time to isolate the Vi when Tarzan dives in.
All right, with getting locked in, let's see what the band's follow-up are, because again, we have no bottom lane here from DK and no top side, which again, you're assuming, I mean, it's his most played in the regular season. It didn't have the best win rates, actually.
Not going jungle
33%.
anymore, and
no,
I don't think Soulmaker's playing that, Jay, so...
But it has been a champion I've been associating with the top laner of DK for a while now. Olaf going to be taken away, so giving him a bit more comfort in this lane, maybe trying to pigeonhole that Flandre plays a tank. I mean, as you said, this guy's got such a strong champion pool. There's so much range on it, but in this comp already, it does feel like they could be pivoting towards the front to back to absorb the range that DK's already built up.
Yeah, so far you can see how DK wants to work with. You've got the extra range from the Syndra and the Jace, and then you've got the Shinzao to pretty much build that shield between your carries and opponents, and it works so well versus Vi as well because it isolates her very well. So I'd love to see right here, KL, I think we talked about this earlier on, Leona was one of his best champions, and Flandre's Yorick, very importantly, getting taken out right here, which is an excellent pick into Jace.
Yeah, it is indeed. Where will Flandre go with this final ban as the Camille support was taken away?
As well.
Yasuo,
okay. BB special.
I mean, we might as well just go through the whole champ pool with Flandre sometimes, I swear. A guy might rotate full circle to the OGs who knew him back when he played Lucian top.
You can just open the client.
Yeah.
You don't even need to type top.
True.
You just have the whole list right there, and Flandre plays it.
All right, well, Bard's going to be taken away as well. This normally a pairing with the Ezreal, but maybe they're assuming that we're going to go Kate Bard or Ziggs Camille. Could have been an option for DK. So are they pigeonholed going to be the biggest question? What do they want to add for the range? As Jhin does go really nicely when you have Jace Syndra.
And it also sets up for the whole composition. It builds up range, playing versus Ezreal. He's a heavy hitter in the early game as well. Playing into a lane with Ezreal, can play around the creeps, but it's not going to be the case. It did flicker to another very heavy hitter, which is the Misfortune, but both work incredibly well here. However, with Jhin, you're a little bit more safe in terms of staying away from Vi range.
There's that Leona question mark. The engage with Ezreal.
I love that.
The roam with Vi as well. I mean, the CC layering on this comp already is really nice with mid.
Yeah. Yasuo!
Jace,
Yasuo!
Jhin, you land an ult on any of them, and it's a pretty free Leona game.
Flandre. It's going to be taken into Jace. Shen, a nice option, locked in for Flandre. Also, the globality that comes from it as well when you have this Leona and Vi being able to sync up. Seems quite nice here from anyone's legend. Yeah, that's the biggest question. How do we round this out? Support needed. It's not a mage bot lane here for DK. It's actually no mage bot lane.
I mean, technically, if you want to, you can go Braum. Braum Jhin is not necessarily the greatest duo, but it does help a lot in terms of playing defense, so you can build that range that we talked about. Trundle support, okay. Not the greatest, however, Leona W has a lot of defenses, which you can yoink away with the Trundle. And you could go Aftershock with Leona, but if you go Aftershock again, Trundle, very happy with that one. So it negates a little bit of that early pressure of going too deep with Leona. However, you still have the Shen to fall right on top. So even if you steal all those defensives, I think that Leona will still be able to stay alive a little bit longer. I like both those compositions. I think for D plus Kira here, they're trying to create space for their carries to stay away as much as possible from AL's carries. However, on the other side, they've got such great gap closers.
They really do, and a bit of submarining from the Shen as well makes an easy engage. So I like Trouble that you talked about the space needed. DK definitely want to keep them at arm's length here. While anyone's legend look to send it. Bit of Layla coming from the BO1 from AGAL. As EWC only on day number 1, but our games have been so good so far. You're recalling the GAM best of 1 we just had versus T1.
Oh, they went crazy.
On the ropes a bit in the first 10-15 minutes. Let's see what happens here, because it has been a while since we've seen these teams. What, over a month now? MSI has been a lot of practice time, a lot of learning time for both D plus Kia and AGAL. But let's see if they can finally redeem themselves. Disappointing fallouts in their respective playoffs. KT in a 5-game series. And AGL didn't stand a chance against BLG. who went on to qualify for MSI through that lower bracket. It was WE that ruined their hopes. It was WE's dream run that got in the way of AGAL. But EWC is a different tournament, a different story, as we welcome you back to Summoner's Rift to see if DK can play at arm's reach.
Biggest question mark here for me, what happens to the Vibe? I feel like whoever's heard me cast for the longest time, they know I'm a big hater of Vibe. B1, I'm just going to defend myself.
Hate Vibe B1.
Vibe B1.
You're going to have to defend yourself.
Because she really ends up being a naked Vibe that just dives in on her own and there's just no backup. There is backup here, like a ton of backup. The Leona, the Shen, the Ezreal with artillery, the Cassiopeia, so it's great. However, she's still not a very strong champion level 1.
True.
We saw in the T1 versus GAM game, once that Vi got invaded on one side, she lost her entire side, she lost her mid laner, she lost her top laner. It kind of snowballs. So I want to see how AL are actually going to defend a potential early game invade into Tarzan's jungle.
I mean, maybe it's going to be a bit of Shen action. We are getting into game. But maybe Flandre has something to say about that as we're finally here. Short pause. I hope there's no more later today as well. Grass taken here for the top side as well for Shiwu, so see what he can do up against Flandre, who...
Remember that defense we're talking about? Suddenly Cassio, Shen, everyone's just
That's what I was saying. I'm
right?
like, I mean, Shen level 1 as well. Depends what he takes.
Do?
But no, but Shen damage early is disgusting. Like, the base damage of Shen, I feel like is still egregious.
Unless he levels Taunt, and then he's kind of cooked for lane.
Yeah, but Taunt, when you also have a Cassio, is probably just going to twin fang you.
All right, playing it safe.
Yeah, we're okay. We're okay for now. We're going to lane. So, as we talked about, it's going to be about how DK can position themselves around these objectives. I think a lot of the time, we're going to be watching these lanes play out, especially solo lanes hit trouble, and how DK get through, take advantage of it, and then Lucid can help take over as well with his heavy skirmishing.
We literally saw this matchup earlier on as well. The Syndra into Cassiopeia. It was actually Yehu versus Canyon. And Yehu played a very, very aggressive early game where he actually landed every Q and walked Canyon down to the point where he forced his TP. And we do know that Shanks can be one of the more aggressive mid laners that we have over in the tournament. Showmaker's playing in really clean, really easy. However, Shanks is going to land the Q. He's trying to isolate Syndra right here, and if he can manage to force that TP, it's huge.
Full engage though on the bottom side as well. Career turns it on its head though. Heal up. Deadly Flourish going to be dodged away. KL also burns the heal to get out. The difference is Barrier was used from Hope, so small summoner advantage here for DK.
2 for 1 right here. However, I feel like Trundle is probably going to be the target for the AJL bot lane for the time being, and especially pre-6. And without the heal available, that means that there's no more defensive summoners other than the flash onto this Trundle. Flanter, unfortunately for now, has to play underneath his tower, especially when you're playing Shen. Unless you can close the gap versus a pretty long-range champion that Jace is right here, it makes it really difficult for Shen to actually play in the early game. Lucid will be tapping towards the top side of the map, however, so you could potentially see a case where Shen gets poked down by the Jace. There's a massive wave currently gathering underneath Shen's tower. They could potentially be just checking after Scuttlecrab to maybe see how chipped that Shen has gone.
The only thing I hate about diving a Shen, though, is he has steadfast presence, and he has
just bait it.
Oh, bait it.
Just bait it.
I like the logic, okay. Just bait it. I just hate diving a Shen.
You can't sleep, just sleep.
Okay.
It's just that simple.
So foreheaded, so smart. Lucid is up top side, as you kind of elaborated. He's going to go for some deep vision. Raptor respawn is on the horizon, so that ward will pay dividends here for the back that's probably going to come from Tarzan momentarily, as he's a little bit behind, trying to find an angle on Showmaker, but Showmaker playing mega passive with Lucid making his back as well. Still a soft back, by the way, if you're wondering. Onto Hope.
Oh,
Shadow Dash not too bad. Pulls out the sword for a little bit, and Siwu takes a chunk.
I actually wanted to see what Lucid was going to die on his back. I feel like we saw from Inspired, he bought double Crystal instead of Crystal and Longsword. And that's because he was actually planning to fight as Carrier.
Blade, hang on with that W up as well. The Eclipse burst, helps out the flash to kill. Hope finds first blood. Lucid's coming in to help out. He flashes with the wind, becomes lightning, doesn't find him with the audacious charge. The knockup from the 3 Talon Strike is close to finding its mark. Deadly Flourish dodged away as well. KL with the fancy feet walks it out. out after success.
Oh, but Kael with the clean 2 versus 2, and we said it, 3-6, Trundle is the target down for bot lane. There is no cleanse as Tarzan and Flandre, they're surrounding the TP.
Okay, that TP a bit egregious. Siwoo's going to jump on him, but you know he's going to die. Flandre even flashes out. Don't think he needed to, but AJL now on the board in 2 ways.
That was so smart from Tarzan. He literally did his Raptors and made his way through Fog of War in his jungle. Flandre calls the TP and Tarzan instantly responds.
Egregious from Siwoo up in that top lane. Tarzan getting on the board in a big way. We look at the replay. I think this will be bot first because I thought this Trundle had a lot of 2v2 pressure trouble, but I was wrong.
I feel like people don't understand how crazy good Leona versus Ezreal is. Leona allows Ezreal to proc his W, Q, and E at the same time. Plus the extra damage is coming from the Leona passive, which is insane. It's extremely squishy. And then KL with exquisite footwork to dodge every route.
Yeah, here it is again. That TP.
But you know what was worse? Flandre's flash.
You know what? I understand TP, like the wave is in this slow pushing state. Siwoo wants to get the push in.
Yeah, however, Tarzan was pinged
by
DK, so that was a bit disrespectful. Just a teeny bit.
Just a bit, so egregious mistake here from the top laner. Not going to net too much because there is a 10 CS lead here for Siwoo, but again, getting Tarzan on the board in a big way, getting closer towards that Sundered Sky. Right now, Jungler's doing their second batch of the clear. As AGAL light started the Dragon here, but I think it was just Kael wanting to get that control ward. I think Pillar started the Dragon off here from career, so Kael has to back off.
No, I think Kael was just trying to solo it. He just wasn't feeling like it.
Yeah, the classic Leona solo Dragon.
And here it comes again. Lucid has been hovering those Raptors for the longest time.
Level 6 as well. Tarzan going to bump on in. A Vault Breaker to get the shield out. Lucid has a level advantage, and that ward is paying dividends right now.
He needs his Raptors to get that level 6, but Shanks is stuck underneath his tower, which means Showmaker will respond first. Lucid is literally sitting around trying to bait Tarzan, and it could potentially be just a 50-50 here. If Tarzan can manage to get the Raptor, he can fight, but he doesn't.
Tarzan going to jump in, still level 5, you're right. Lucid takes it away, and the problem is the range here. The mid-pressure from Showmaker, Shanks can't join. And, you know, Siwoo also having top pressure as well. It's not like Flandre can stand United out.
Career, no flash.
Good burst here. Career getting low at level 4. Here comes KL once again. Shield of Daybreak was on cooldown. Smash holds on to the 4th. But AGL, their solo lane's doing decent enough. And the bot lane is doing very well.
The bot lane is doing very, very well. The fact that Career chose this particular champion for the post-6 effect that he has versus that Leona. He's not getting that pre-6, no. So Hope and KL have recognized what their win condition is, and they're permanently just fist fighting bot lane to try and get advantages. So far, the advantages have been great. 600 gold up onto that Ezreal, up in CS, perma pushing that bot lane, which actually allows a little bit of freedom for Vi to play towards that bottom of the map, knowing that they constantly have pressure, and even if they don't, Flandre on the top side with his level 6 ready to assist.
I mean, again, it is the flexibility, right? Also, Kael can play towards Tarzan, vice versa. And I love that you pull the Shen into the equation as well. As Tarzan starts this off, that Shen ulti is up and available, so...
with Lucid back in right here, he's probably completely Stunner and a couple more items. Oh, sorry, he's... Oh! I am loving... No, he changed it!
What happened?
He was going for Titanic Hydra and he changed it. Now, the reason why I love Titanic Hydra onto Xin Zhao is because you can proc your knock-up super fast, especially versus slippery champions like Cassio and Ezreal. However, if you're not ahead, it's a hindrance to your fighting power because you get Sundered Sky much faster.
I was thinking it.
Those objective setups are going to be a little intricate, I think, this game, because both of these comps don't really get to be non-committal, do they? No. And speaking of committing, we are committing to Summoner's Rift.
That's it. Once you go in for these fights, there's no way back out. You need to pull the trigger, you need to be decisive, and you need to make it work for you with these compositions, because, again, we are here on Summoner's Rift for game 1 of this best of 1 between Furia and G2 here at EWC 2026, and already they're showing face in the mid lane.
Oh yes, and again, you win. You go towards an upper bracket best of 3, which is great news. You lose, and you're not quite done, but that lower bracket best of 3 is a little more alarming, to say the least of it. Fighting over these level 1 wards. Fury will clear that one out relatively swift. You can see that, of course, Jojo starting off there with the sweep. Of course, not to be confused with Jojo Pure. And if we see those two teams fight off, we're going to have to be much more careful about our phrasing.
What I really, really like there is Hans Sama just chipped away at IU over the wall blind, right? And that speaks to the level of play these guys have. The seconds he was counting down in his head, he's like, you walk this fast, you will be here, I'm going to chip at you and get a little bit of a lane advantage, which is so important in these early stages as they start to skirmish on that bot side.
And again, there are going to be a lot of questions about GT because we saw some real high highs from them at MSI. That victory against T1 will go down in European history. The series that followed against Lion was a real disappointment.
It will also go down in
history. And then that gets tricky because again, on top of that, there's been the backroom staff, Dylan and Perk switching up a little bit there as well. So it means that there's quite a lot of eyes on G2 to see what we get from them. And we've already got a little bit different look in that drafting phase with that Syndra and stuff coming on in, see where they feel like here. And again, for Fury, I got to chat with some of the CBLOL English casters. Shout out to Trajan and stuff as well, who was giving me some of their notes and their thoughts on what they thought about the MSI perspective from someone who's a big CBLOL fan. Put a lot of time into these teams, saying, look, frankly, really happy that they did a good job. They turned up and did them proud, but there was just this issue was like, maybe in years past, you could have said, look, the hands were there, but the game sense wasn't quite. This time, it was just really difficult to win games against the top teams, and there was a little bit of, like, frankly, just getting out-executing those late-game team fights. See what happens here, though, with some violence occurring. I'm yapping away, and Labrov is being dropped real low. Fury are looking to show exactly what hands they've got.
That's it. We saw Labrov there burn both summoners, but critically, Hans Sama stepped up and took the deadly flourish from IU, protecting Labrov, preventing that first blood going over. Because as we were talking, we saw on the top side here, Broken Blade had Guigo pushed in, and another skirmish in this mid lane. Caps has that. What's interesting here is that both of these are melee mid laners, right? So there's no ranged advantage over melee advantage. It's we're just going to be brawling the whole time. But critically, these junglers, right? Currently both on the top side. However, Skumond will be spotted recalling. So now Fury have the information that the jungler not out on the rift.
Here comes everyone. Hang on. This gets spicy. Tuts goes in with that shield. 3v2 and Labrov being around does need to get out. Does Caps and survive that teleport. Comes with an additional summoner cost.
That's it. Both summoners burnt their 4 caps. It was going to be a 3v1. It ended up being a 3v2, so it was much harder to get that coveted crown off of Caps, but the flash well spent to escape there. As this top side, they're skirmishing. They want to get these stacks up. Guigo critically, the grasp to get that permanent max health here. That the junglers, again, we see Skumond around that mid lane trying to potentially get the flash out of Tuts on this Akali, because flash is so, so important.
And again, poor Fury, you are the team with the Lee Sin, with the Camille, with very, very volatile lanes. Lots of setup, lots of playmaking. They are being active. It's what we wanted to see from a graph like this. And they're not playing slow. They're not playing conservative right now. They're trying to make the moves happen. Logan just pointing out the fact that Labrov was recalling on a wall, but it doesn't look like we're going to see the interrupt as it stands. But thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate you, mate.
Of course, of course. I mean, we all have to help each other out here, but it will be seen. So that's information given over for free, which is not something you want to be doing. You don't want your opponents to know that they're up a man into your lane, because that's when these plays can happen. That's when junglers on the right roam times can get those ganks down. As we see Guigo and Broken Blade, Jojo in the top side, already having roamed from the bot, walking up, spotted on a ward.
We are. Can Jojo get on in here?
Whoa!
That hook shot
Nice
on
dodge.
BB.
Nice dodge. Nice dodge.
Casual.
Yeah, BB does not have two left feet. This man has a left and a right, and he's taken dance lessons. Well, it's fading it out, right? If he can delay Jojo, if he makes Jojo want to stick around, he still has the flash, so he has the confidence to get out of a 2v1, but Jojo goes topside, wastes a little bit of time, recalls back out onto the rift.
And I was chatting with Jamada a little bit before, and he was doing some really great breakdowns on why we're seeing so much support roaming, because catch-up XP is incredibly busted from about 8 minutes on, so you can just spend the first 5 to 10 minutes roaming around and just rely on the 8-minute catch-up XP to get yourself back in. Allows people like Jojo to go looking for moves like that.
And speaking of looking, the Drake is up. So it will be which jungle wants to get there first. We do see that G2 has vision around that Drake pit though, so they will get that information if Furia decide to go for it. But the rate these two are scrapping,
BB might have to be a little bit careful here. He's about to go mini and misses his ult. Does clear the wave. Does Guigo want to look on this mini nard timing for the public execution? There it is. Forces the flash. wondered whether we might be looking on that one, and Guigo does get a little bit extra.
I would say
Kalau di
that
promo
ult
tukar
for
flash
BB
tuh
Splash
untung banget
absolutely
anjir.
worth, because now without a flash, it's almost impossible to get those excellent angles on those ults, those team stuns.
And again, this is a composition from both teams that loves that level 6. The ult buttons are absolutely glorious for pretty much every champion in the game here.
Yeah, absolutely. Hans Sama, though, doing well on this Syndra, maintaining that CS, just getting a little bit of poke on IU, which is why we're seeing both of these supports roam a bit. We've obviously seen Jojo roam a bit more than LeBron at the moment, but I think LeBron might be trying to play patient, protect Syndra while they're getting this up. Caps, though, making a play.
Does go looking. Scumon's around. Has got that ability to call up the hounds if required. Tattoo and Jojo in though.
Wow,
Good shot and sinker.
That's it. Furia showed up. They brought more men. They got there quicker, and they take out Caps. Solid. First blood over to Furia. They'll net themselves that bounty gold as well off the first blood. So they find themselves 1,000 gold up over G2. However, the rest of the lanes, it's kind of normal at the moment. We've got most of these summoners down.
Hang on. Jojo went looking. Oh, that got spicy. The hook shot that time a little wide. Can't make it 2 for 2 there, but still a little nervous. You can keep going now, Logan.
It was a great Zenith blade from LeBron. I'll give him that as well. Level 4, so had that level advantage. So a little bit tanky as we go into this replay. Caps is doing everything he can to get away. But look at Toots. He's got very little damage, so had to call in the reinforcements.
Whoa!
Oh, dapat lagi.
Labrov's gone! IU picks it up. We come out of the replay into violence of Furia here. Find themselves 1,300 gold to the goods.
You could almost say violence and fury.
Very good. All right, yeah, very nice. All right.
Like, Fury is fury.
We'll workshop it. We'll workshop it.
That's it. But another kill for Furia. They are firmly on the board. 2-0. But critically, that first half of the game is still up. So this is going to be a slower game. We're not going to be rushing to 4 dragons and get that soul. The grubs are up as well, so in 5 seconds. So jungle objectives, not a high priority.
No, it's not really been about the objectives so far. I mean, part of it, of course, has been a lot of these players wanting to get towards that level 6, towards those ultimate abilities. But as it stands, Fury with that Camille found themselves those 2 kills. They're the team with the Lee Sin to go with that important support. They're about to find Labrov again, who's in a potentially tricky spot. Gets the clip down, hit by that deadly flourish. Hands coming on over, can look for a scout of the week as Scumon goes in. The Hounds pursuit the call of the pack. And they're calling up an ambulance. It's just not for them. They'll head towards the grubs.
Call the ambulance.
Goes in and we're thinking, oh, look,
not for
but he
you.
tanked it so beautifully. He gets hit. Oh.
Scumon gets another one of those R buttons, goes on to Guigo. In comes the hero's entrance and Toots. Unfortunately, the villain in this equation, as the curtains are called, and unfortunately no one's there to bow.
The heroic entrance from Caps, the hero of G2, able to help turn this fight around, give that protection that they need, the damage absorption, as G2 crowd goes crazy over these 2 kills.
It's not just them though, you're hearing the counter chants from Furia. The crowd are in full voice today. It is echoing here in Paris, towards the replay though, because this got very close.
Yeah, Labrov here almost got like caught out by the 2 members of Furia and does go down to half health early, but G2 is there to back it up. Scumon all ins to make sure they get that numbers advantage and scare Furia off the grubs. But Furia not done. They're down 4-5. They started again, but they overplay their hand. Caps arrives instantly and prevents any further deaths.
The hero turns up and is right there to save the day as ever. Really good stuff there. Gets G2 their own couple kills on the board and evens up that gold discrepancy that was going against them. A few hundred to the lead for Furia, but certainly nothing to write home about.
But something to write home about. Scumon has completed the first item of the game, has that Cyclo Sword on that Neferi, so very, very dangerous.
Slightly busted item.
Yep, but Tar2 answers in kind and has just picked up his Sundered Sky as well, so has that healing, has that sustain. Will be able to go toe-to-toe, but is down in CS significantly to Scumon at the moment. So these first items starting to roll through. We've got a couple of kills in the important places, though, ADs and jungles.
We do indeed. And again, well, AD is standing for awesome dudes again. We are back in 2018. Hands on that Syndra. We'll keep our eyes on it. 48 stacks right now in terms of that Syndra passive, those Splinters of Wrath, which is a great name for an ability, by the by.
Love it, well said.
And it's 120 is the max stacks. Of course, you get the execute at 100, which is obviously a significant break point into a comp that is very squishy. You get to a point where the Syndra has enough AP, the R button will be pretty lethal here, but plays off that being a genuine one-shot for now. Dragon still untaken 10 minutes into the game, which is fairly late for the meta we were seeing evolve at MS just last week.
Yeah, literally days ago, everyone was going for these objectives immediately, but there is a little bit of a scuffle here for that vision control around the Drake, right? Both teams may not be going for it, but both teams want to know when the other
In the mirror, completely blind, they isolate 4 members of DK, and they get the numbers advantage through that.
Those one-item spikes, and will be able to fight over these convincingly. For now, though, it's about priority. As Tatu has started up this Drake, G2, though, responding.
And Tatu goes, maybe I don't. Maybe I get out of here. About to face check Labrov there that will hit with a shield, which I feel is a little unfair. Lee Sin's just got some fists. Gonna get hit with the Zenith Blade as well. This gets a bit spicy. The kick away. Labrov now put in a tricky position. It's tanky enough for now, but in comes Tux. Shuriken flip, stunned up, hook shot, not there. The shield of Durand and Skumon hops out. A couple summoners, but that'll be the end of it.
Labrov tanked basically 3 there. He, like, teased Furia. He's like, I'm going in because I know G2's here, but do you want to come into me? Baits them in, gets out with the flash. Had to commit it to survive there, otherwise would have gone over to Furia. I like the play. Could have been a little less over-committed. Oh, broken blade.
Good chunk there onto Guigo. Now back down into the hyper. Guigo probably going to need to look to reset here. Does have the teleport. Public execution goes wide. The hero arrives. Caps gets the taunts. And Ambessa goes dancing around, but that's a Drake out step into a 6-foot hole. An early grave for Guigo.
Well played by BB. I thought he was just going for the turret plates to get some gold, but he was baiting Guigo in, and the critical sidestep that changed that fight. If Guigo had been able to hit that, that would have been BB going down, and it would have been Caps alone under the tower in the face of Guigo. So important.
If that had gone another way, we might be having a different conversation as it stands, though. G2 now find themselves up 1,600 gold. They found themselves a lot of those role quest completions as well. Furia lagging behind a little in that, and the early moves that we were seeing with that Camille have just sort of fallen away a little bit. And I am looking at a composition here from Furia that wants this mid-game to be strong. You're there with the Akali. You're there with that very heavy playmaking jungle support. You are, however, very melee, very squishy, and very burst heavy. If you start having this happen to you, I get a touch nervous.
Nerves of steel these players have. Nervous is not a word in their vocabulary. It is confidence. It is all in as another fight brewing. Jojo kicks it off.
There's a shield from Jojo with the adaptive defenses. Labrov still only level 5. The level 6s are beginning to come on through as the catch-up experience begins to do a little work there. Jojo has got that one, as we noted. Back to the river we go. Herald a minute and a half away. So at this point, really what we're playing for is priority in the river, control in the river, and a replay to come on up to see exactly what happened on this top lane dive.
Yeah, so BB and Guigo were just trading as normal. BB trying to get this wave pushed in because he knows Caps is nearby, but back to live, we're fighting again.
Oh boy, I got caught drinking there for a second. My water comes on in as G2 murder the Camille, but it's traded back well enough. The TP's flying. Skumon in danger, flashes away. Guigo with the shield and the repudiate. Shut down! Jin finds himself a curtain call to remember.
Skumon did a really good job there of delaying, but it felt inevitable. Holding that 4th shot so long, IU was, that it just wasn't good enough for Skumon. They had vision control on him. G2 tried to respond, but they just weren't quick enough. So this is a really good contest. We're 4 apiece. Furia has completed all their role quests. 1,000 gold diff in favor of G2, so they've been able to claw it back from Furia. But if you take a look at that vision control, G2 are the ones in control because they want this topside objective. They're preparing for that Rift Herald in 20 seconds, and there is another Drake up. It will be the second of the game, though. So again, really, really slow on these Drakes. I can't see this being the win condition for either team. I have to imagine it's going to be a Baron and a Force.
See how that one works again. It will be a very late Dragon in general. First one went the way of G2 alongside those scrubs. And again, you're the team with the Gnar, with that ability to come collapsing with that global. So theoretically, a win condition there, especially if BB goes something like that Trinity Force Black Cleaver build rather than something like the Sterax to really get some value out of the grub. Skumon currently soloing out the Heralds. Are we going to see a contest? We might well do, though Furia a little late over here, but they're considering it for sure. Guigo now here, ults all rolling, flashes a little bit more scarce, and that will probably mean that G2 pick that one up. Ends up being a little bit of Safari League of Legends from Fury. Go, wow, wow, there's the wildlife, and back away.
But I do want to point out...
Oh, hang on. That was nearly an interrupt. Jojo went looking on the ward recall interrupt. Didn't quite find it, though.
Yeah. But I do want to point out, even though Furia lost the Rift Herald, the value of their vision control in that area. They knew G2 was starting it up. They knew how many members and which members of G2, so they were like, you know what? We can't contest this. We're going to let them have it, and that's a smart play. So they got cross-map. They started feeding gold into their other players in other lanes and gave that Rift Herald over. They said, that's a fight we'll worry about a little bit later. Because if you look at it, no turrets have gone down yet. They're all pretty healthy. Even the mid lane for G2 is still on the maximum amount of turrets it can be. So Furia, they're not getting onto these turrets. They need to start.
I mean, you've got a Jhin and double melees in your solo lanes. Hell, even your jungle and support are melees. Your ability to get to those turrets is somewhat limited here. Unless you manage to get the fight that gives you just numbers advantage to walk at turrets.
Things coming down around this Drake. They're going to contest for this one. Lebrov just getting that vision down. Joe.
Okay. Damage is there. The Hextech ultimatum. The solar flare!
Oh, sakit. Come on.
Oh my days, the Syndra just presses R8.
Wow.
With the TP, the shield, and Durand locks them all in space. Power is unleashed, and G2 find themselves a couple to the goods.
Lebrov is starting these fights and he's taking so much damage, but it buys G2 the time to collapse and take Fury to the cleaners. It was a clean fight from G2 there, taking 2 of Furia and buying themselves a priority to get that second Drake of the game, and their stacking is on and they're 2k up.
And Labros now just picked up a Protoplasm Harness as well. The ability to pick a Leona through the Eclipse, through the Aftershock. Eclipse the ability, not the item, just to clarify, they are two things. Words that are used in multiple places.
We know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Just to clarify, guys. The big shield that Leona puts up, alongside that Protoplasm Harness, killing this Leona off first, I think might be an exercise in madness.
And almost an exercise in...
I still has ult? Question mark, question mark, question mark?
Yeah. But Lebrov has...
So now for Showmaker, I mean, he has no Seekers. Shank's done.
Drake fight as it starts out here. Hans Sama is in that mid lane and rotates down through the top side, but Jojo starts it on Lebrov. Lebrov eats 2. He eats almost 4 of the shots of Ayu. Where is Jin's damage going? Not into who matters. And that buys the time for G2 to collapse and take Fury out.
And as usual in this game, we come out of the replay into more action. 6-4 in the kills, but it feels like there's definitely been a bit of a fracas at any given moment. Touch now coming up towards this top lane, where of course Caps has managed to get that level advantage. A couple of kills to the good here. He's got the Hollow Radiance. There's another stun into the wall and a nasty chunk onto Guigo there, who may need to start backing away as the Hyperprocs begin to mount that boomerang. Just a touch short there. Turret number 1 falls for G2, and that gold lead begins to balloon to a notable margin.
Yeah, the first turret going down at 1836 is fairly slow by today's standards. But I just want to point out as well, Lebrov is a level up and a completed item up as well over Jojo.
He is. He's in a really good spot there. Got a little nervous with Skewmon hanging around at that blue buff, just hopping over with the Eviscerate, but just some trading. I think it's more manageable. Broken Blade hasn't left the public execution.
No.
Apa itu? Lag banget.
Broken Blade breaks the ankles of Guigo.
He's doing it all.
Berapa kali miss anjir tadi.
It's almost impossible for Guigo to hit an ult on the BB. This man is a natural-born ballerina. The moves he has, the slides he has got.
Enggak, tadi itu memang miss anjir.
Broken Blade, and he is here to win it.
A ballerina, you say, well, that suddenly gives a new meaning to on point, doesn't it? What a player when given the opportunity. A player that at points has been criticized that maybe a little too streaky, maybe not good enough for international. Well, how do you do at MSI? How is he doing here? The upper end of this player is really just very special, isn't it? Fury, of course, not out of it here. You're still looking at the Jhin, who, if he can pick up a few more items, will still be very scary. The problem is, with all of these grubs and Guigo struggling in the 1v1, these tier 2s are beginning to fall, and the structure gold is just strong. Oh, we even get the T-Tours. Thank you, Observer, for the Christopher Nolan Cup.
This is the addition that I do want to see, my friend, as we see Jojo deep in enemy territory, trying to get sort of some vision control down, just to know what G2 is doing. Tatu clearing his camps out. The Baron is now up at the 20-minute mark, and the third Drake of the game, another 2 minutes, but the Rift Herald.
Charge. Lands, and it's gone. And now suddenly all those outer turrets are gone, and the gold really has gotten to a difficult position. 5,000 gold is more than a little alarming for the Furia fans out there, I have no doubt. Gonna try and play back as well when the vision's beginning to fall. Are you with a Captain Jack gets on out of there? You remember the day you almost got the Furia AD carry.
That's right. Han Sama 2-0, Caps 2-1, Skumon 2-1. Broken Blade has not died. But Furia, they're not without their answers. If Tatu can find an angle, if they can protect IU and get that damage onto the right targets, Furia are still very much in this. They can compete with G2 here. However, G2, they have the aggression, they have the priority.
Labrov went looking there, but over the wall went Tatu. Now the curtains get caught. Hansama getting tied by some of those bullets, but Labrov still about alive. Tatu! Just taken by the bleed. The darkened daggers. A little too poisonous. Tuts potentially in danger of the shielded round. Just about able to escape there on the Akali.
How does Labrov keep living? He tanks so many shots, he takes so much damage, and it prevents it from going on to Han Sama. He protects the AP carry of G2 so well. This bot lane, they are synergized, and with the priority off of that fight, they're able to turn it into that Baron because there is no jungler alive for Furia. They cannot smite this. They have to give this one over. They don't even have vision. G2, free Baron.
It's going to be a relatively slow Baron as there is no AD carry in a Syndra as your damage deal. Of course, Skumond on the Nefiri, perhaps a little bit more able to offer that Baron DPS, and it will go down easy as you like. They'll pick that one up. Jojo goes looking for Labrov, but we've seen this one before, guys. Are we sure? Eclipse into Aftershock, and he only loses a third of his HP bar. He's still got a protoplasm harness to work with.
LeBron's like, I ain't recalling up for that. You need to do better because I am still ready to go. Caps has been everywhere, and we look at this right.
Like, I mean,
8 kills over to G2. Skumond, he's been involved in 6 of them.
Caps just got to be a little careful here, actually. Gets hit by the public execution.
One fantastically. The moment the knock-up was used, he's like, up, I'm out of here. Hero's exit, if you will. Is it very heroic if you're leaving the fight?
I feel like heroes learning to run away is an important part of the medium.
Strategic, what is a strategic return, something like that.
Strategic retreat, that's the one.
As we do see, Skumond is on the third Drake of the game. Again, we call it's slow Drakes, but this will get their stacking. It is an Infernal, and it will be an Infernal Soul, which means extra poke damage.
And what we did see from the likes of HLE, from the likes of BLG at first, and is you can give up some of those dragons if you can kind of do this. Play elsewhere, play for the structures, and maybe, just maybe, a kill or two.
Nasty with it. Labrov kicked that off with a Zenith Blade into the Q, into the Solar Flare, and nothing Jojo could do. But I was saying before, 9 kills. Labrov has been a part of 7 of them. Labrov is everywhere in this game, and he's just surviving. He hasn't died in over 10 minutes.
And again, another one of those players who got a little criticised or questions about him joining G2. He's been having a great old time over the last tournament or so, and continues his MSI form with pretty strong showings here on this Leona.
Tuts was forced to hold out. Skumond's
hang on, they're going to get a victory. Oh my god, he's dead! Well, the Dark and Daggers land, and the Akali is dead for rights.
G2, they have a numbers advantage. They're sieging.
They can keep rolling.
Yeah, they've got the Baron buff. They've got 2 waves here with...
Oh, IU just flashed under his own turret. That's unfortunate. The nerves perhaps getting to him a little here. 3-0, but I think this might be a tricky old hold. The Nexus turret under siege. G2, unrelenting. Implacable.
Caps is keeping Guigo away. Has the ult to join the fight if he needs to as well.
Flash behind the curtain call, just wide. Can't wanted that one. Angelina will shake ahead. They go in the hero's entrance. And G2 in the heart of Paris will win their first game at the Esports World Cup 2026.
G2 beat Furia in the BO1 convincingly. It was close to start, but G2, the veterans, were able to chip away at Furia and just snowball from there. You can hear the crowd so ecstatic that G2 took this one back. This is an upper bracket. Furia, they go down to the lower bracket. They still have another chance here at EWC 2026.
Indeed. And again, we were wondering what we were going to see from G2 after what is a
very... Stream B, apakah sudah selesai?
staff. What were we going to see from them? There were questions.
Sorry.
Transfer Siu into this fight and try to find the team fight, or do we lose the power and at least defend bot lane? Well, they did defend bot lane because Flandre TP'd out of it, but they couldn't find an angle to get into this river on top side. There was no vision. AGAL have closed all doors to that objective, and now with a Baron and a 4,000 gold lead, I feel like they've got a better team fighting composition. They've got the engage, the disengage. It's just so easy to play from here now.
I feel like it's been it was an interesting laning phase, but it does feel like, again, that hope lead overflowed to the rest of the map. Tarzan finding early objectives as well. Setup was beautiful. DK now trying to climb back through objective gain. That bot lane turret going down, but meanwhile, what does it cost? Top turret and all its entirety of place with mid as well. Inners both going down. AGL getting a storm of gold as they run through approaching the base.
Top lane, mid lane, both tier 2s gone for AGAL. Only one outer tower, only one more defense outside of that base from DK remaining, and AGAL have no will to take that one as they have 2 cannon Baroned up minions over on the top side of the map, and DK have split up in 2 groups trying to defend that, but they're both falling at the same time.
Trying at the very least. Plate's already being taken. Bot wave is a nonchalant wave for the time being. Next wave coming in. Baron for another minute 15. This aggression won't stop. DK might have to make a move. A Scatter the Weak is not bad here on the Tarzan. Solar Flare now thrown out with True Shot Barrage dodge. Tarzan for the flash. Vault Breaker in. Sees the desist. Rooted down. Smash can't play. Petrifying guys might miss, but it might not matter. Scatter the Weak came through and look. Flandre's in the middle taking no damage. Where is it? Showmaker needs to land every single thing, and Shadow Dash connects yet again onto Chris. Scatter the Weak is good with the pillar as well. Tarzan jumps back in. Vault Breaker doesn't connect, but neither does Petrifying Gauge. Probably saves the life, saves the game of DK, but for how much longer? Baron doing all the work. Nexus turrets under threat. AGAL take another body in career. Shadow Dash forward. Shanks jumping in behind enemy line. Showmaker gets his unleashed power, but Hope jumps forward. There's no more fuel in the tank. DK have been taken down, and AGAL stands strong in their first game of EWC 26.
Absolutely beautiful team fights from AGAL. That's what made them dominant last year in the LPL. That's what made them dominant in EWC last year as well. And suddenly they seem to be finding their form over and over again. Fantastic early game win conditions with that bot lane. Incredible mid game to collect every kill possible on the map whilst using Flandre. And then the patience on the Shen, knowing that eventually they'll shut down the... and it will just be smooth sailing. And it was. They were just the better team fighters.
And what was so annoying about that game is every fight I thought, oh man, Flandre is carrying, and then you look closer and you're like, wait, Flandre is probably just unkillable.
Not only unkillable, but he's such a threat damage-wise as well.
Yeah, even if he misses,
it's
it's like...
and dawn. It's
wait, Shadow Dash has a 6-second cooldown now. That was a great opening game. Oh, so much bloodshed. I mean, that felt like we're, a pub brawl for quite a long time. But DK unable to get their setup. Shimu had a rough day here on this chase. One of his most played, not one of his most successful.
upset, again, with a bit of a mixed roster. Feisty in the mid lane, a former Brion product, and now getting the opportunity to lead the line here at an international event. So exciting to see that for him.
Yeah, really cool to see. I did want to talk a little bit about something that we've seen because of this MSI win for HLE. Now we have Zeus is the first player to have won EWC, First Stand, MSI, and Worlds. And Zeka, if they win in this tournament, can match that, which is just absolutely insane achievement. The cool thing to mention as well, Zeka won all of these tournaments on his first attempt.
First try.
So with this, you know, isn't his first EWC, so won't be able to do that here. But still a great track record, I think, and just shows these players the achievements they've been able to get, the legacy that they have.
I mean, just from going from winning Worlds and being the patch guy, right? People were saying people discredit him. Not anymore, right? Now he's won everything, basically. He's got just one trophy missing.
Yeah, Zeka has been writing his name in the history books. Let's see if he's able to do so yet again in their first matchup. It's MIBR Los versus the reigning MSI champions, Hanwha Life Esports.
I mean, when you talk about surprises, we could look at last night, Spain.
I'm not rooting for the UK tonight, for England tonight. This is not happening.
Sorry, pardon! Pardon! Je suis anglais! But what I can say is, if we see a big surprise in this next matchup, it could be the biggest upset yet.
The biggest possible indeed. The two last teams hitting the stage for one game, une et une seule. Mesdames et messieurs, on commence par MIBR. One of the most iconic esports names in Brazil. They're carrying the passion of their region here in Paris. Peuvent-ils le faire face aux géants venus de Corée?
Their opponents, Hanwha Life Esports! They arrive here in Paris as the reigning MSI champions, carrying the form, confidence, and expectations of the tournament favorites. For MIBR, this is an opportunity to announce themselves against one of the world's best. For HLE, this is the next step in an incredible month defined by international success.
Pour HLE, c'est un match censé être trop facile, mais MIBR peuvent-ils surprendre les favoris? C'est parti!
International success, that's what Hanwha Life are coming off the back of after winning MSI in 5 games. Now looking to add another title as they begin their run here at EWC. My name's Jake, also joined by Jack.
Jack and Jake, baby.
Jack and Jake, and we are taking it with first pick coming from the Snake, because Cassiopeia is going to get locked in.
That definitely could happen, and I just want to say it's a pleasure to be with you, Jake. It's my first time casting a non-European, my first international cast ever.
Hey, big day.
I mean,
it had to be with me.
It had to be with you. I think it might be one-sided, but as Wolf was saying, right, KC had a really good early game lead against Gen G, and I feel like, you know, if they pushed it a little bit further, we could have had an upset there. T1 had a fantastic game against GAM, and
outside of the first 15 minutes, because GAM had a big early lead.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, GAM had a fantastic early game. That's what I meant. Exactly. There was nearly an upset there on the table.
Really?
So I do think that if MIBR Los has been watching that, and then Hanwha Life, I think it's very common that we see this, where a team slightly slumps after they've just had a good tournament.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have this, like, it's really easy to not stagnate, right? But when it's always harder when you come in as the favorites versus coming in as either neutral or the underdogs, because the burden of expectation is on your shoulders, and I think that can be something that weighs on Hanwha Life's backs. But at the same time, I feel a bit silly for saying that, because they're players that have so much pedigree. Like Ox was saying, that they're pretty used to the pressure at this point.
Yeah, they are. And again, you know, that pressure comes around to a guest CBLOL team, a team that's come in not as one of the partnered organizations. The only guest team in the CBLOL made it all the way to EWC, which is such a feat. But now as MIBR Los, can they cause an upset in a best of one? What do they got up their sleeves? Because this is a team on the other side from Korea that is known for their amazing draft. I mean, I think their drafts are so flexible, so versatile.
Yeah.
Zeus comes out with this like swaying top. Oh crap, what are we gonna do? You know, Zeka has all these melee assassins that historically, even before his Worlds win, he started becoming known for. Now his flexibility has outranged that.
Yeah.
Solo lanes are crazy from Humble Life, and I feel like that's what helped them win the MSI title.
For sure. I think the fact that Zeus can play a really good weak side and just chill, like we saw in Game 5 against BLG, he picks the Dr. Mundo. It's a really bad matchup into the Aatrox, and he goes down, what, 10 CS at 20 minutes? You're completely fine.
Runs the game.
And then he takes over the team fights, right? And the fact that he can both do that and he can play a hard-winning matchup and take over the game adds so much consistency to their game, because now you can either have Gumayusi on more of a pivotal carry and play for him, or you can just leave him on the 6, leave him on the Jhin, leave him on the Astro, like we've seen them do a lot, and just play up towards Zeus.
I was talking to Widid backstage, and I'm like, you know, who do we think the best mage bot is right now?
Player or champion?
I mean, player, I think.
Player is Gumayusi.
I mean, that's right. That was the answer that came back to me.
Actually, it's Viper. For me, it's Viper.
Well,
but I love Viper. I'm biased.
From the top teams, that's the versatility we talk about, and it's not like Mage's bot have been a thing heavily outside of MSI, but we are in that MSI patch. We've had a lot of time, and HLE have had so much time on that patch and so much tournament time that they're coming fresh off of it, only a couple of days off their giant win. We're about to get into pick and ban. Reminder, 26.13, we're still on. And no one's asked yet, but I will remind you that Locke is still banned. He's not available. That's why you won't see him at this tournament, which is a shame. You have to wait until summer.
Is it a shame? He seems so broken. Like when I played against him, he seems so broken.
He's so broken, but the skill expression is
The skill expression is cool. He's definitely a cool champ. I think the design is very cool as well.
It's amazing, yeah. It's good for first timers, because first timers always jump in with that leak, you know, like very easy to int.
Yeah.
Once again. All right, here we go. You know it's starting up, Jack. You know the center camera means that we're going to pick ban, don't you? You know the angle. You've been in broadcast enough now. You know what this means.
I know what this means. I mean, I'm curious to jump on what you said about the Mage's bot lane, because we haven't seen too much of it. I think we saw 2 games, but it's mostly been Ezreal and Jhin that's been traded in the bot lane. And the thing is, they play kind of the same. Like Ezreal, Jhin, they're still casters, and they're just going to be sitting back, farming waves, not being that proactive and not that aggressive. So I do think that this meta really suits Gumayusi, and I'm curious to see if MIB or LOS want to play into that meta, or if they want to try to make something happen of their own. We've seen, for example, MKOI, I really liked when they said, we don't care about the range supports, we're just going to put Alvaro on engage. And I do think when you're the underdog, playing outside of the meta and just sticking to your comfort can be really, really nice.
Agreed. Let's see, what angle is it here for MIBR LOS? They're going to be first pick as their Akali's the final ban. Orianna goes with it as well. Seemed like a fish here from MIBR to get that Orianna first pick. But remember, the Cassiopeia that has been picked up pretty much every game so far as the priority is open.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be quite snaky business here. Unless they want to go for something else. I mean, teams have been willing to trade the Syndra for the Cassio, and they're actually going to go for the Jarvan first pick. That makes me think that Hanwha Life will probably just want to pick up the Astral, have a mobile carry, so you don't need to worry about it. Or they might go for the Lucian instead, a much more proactive early bot lane that want to try to get ahead. But we've seen Guma quite well on the Lucian Milio, so we'll have to see if that's what's being locked in here.
See if it does get locked in as well. Maybe support pairing, maybe jungle answer, Jack.
I think a jungle answer, like probably a Xin Sao. Oh, they choose to take away the Syndra. So Syndra priority over the Cassio. Normally I thought we were seeing the Syndra because teams just thought it was a really nice matchup scaling into the Cassiopeia later on. But Hanwha Life just think it's good enough to pick very early, and I assume it's going to be a jungle answer paired up alongside it. And if it's the Naafiri, you have a really, really good damage base from Hanwha Life, but you're lacking a lot of that front line that you'll need to get later on.
So let's talk range, let's talk pairings. Cassiopeia feels like a no-brainer. Do you go AP solo laner as well with the Jarvan like the Rumble here? Or do you just lock in Nautilus and get hard engaged? The answer seems to be the Naut here, kind of foregoing the potential of the Rumble.
Yeah, now it makes me think that Hanwha Life are just going to answer with support. They could also choose to take their top laner, ban 2 for Zeus, and do it that way. What I like about taking the support is that you're probably always going to have a good bot lane matchup. You can also flex that Syndra later on.
So what do you want? Not Rakan here, what do you want?
I think you want Leona or Alistar. I like both here. Alistar provides a lot more tankiness. The only thing is Alistar can feel quite bad into Cassio, because if she gets that miasma, you can't combo. But as long as you're able to play around that, which I'm I think the Light will be able to do. He's shown quite good prowess, and if he can get a good flank going or just get that engage going, it also just nullifies the Nautilus a lot, because if Nautilus ever hooks in, Alistar pops the ulti, Alistar combos Nautilus, and Nautilus always dies first. So it makes it quite a bit harder for Ackerman to try to find that engage and try to set up his team for success.
Is Zeus going to be going something like a tank this game? I see the Vayne ban, normally fishing for
Definitely
like
needs
a
to
Gnar
be
or...
either a tank or a bruiser. I don't think he can get away with going another squishy champion. I mean, you can have Alistar as the solo frontline, but it's a lot more difficult to play than if you have something like the Ambessa, like the Gnar, that can also semi-frontline follow-up.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, LeBlanc also the ban away. What are they thinking about here?
So they think
Syndra bot, they think.
Yeah, they think it's Syndra bot most likely. And they choose to take away the LeBlanc. I'm assuming, I didn't think it was that good of a matchup into the Cassio, but I can see how it can be good quite early on. But I feel like as Cassio gets tankier, it should get easier for her. But we've seen Seka do quite nasty things on the LeBlanc and absolutely style on his opponents. I think it was against G2, I remember that he was styling on us with the LeBlanc. So a good ban here from MIB Loss.
Renekton's going to follow up as well. Maybe it is that Ambessa you talked about, Jack. I mean, I see Renekton ban, I say it is an Ambessa angle through and through here, or maybe even the Gnar, but...
I think Ambessa and Gnar both make sense here.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they choose to keep the Cinderflex for last. It makes sense, but, you know, typically I feel like we see Zeus getting that counter pick on top, but they choose to invest 2 bans into him. It does still mean, like, you have the Gnar blind pick, it can be vulnerable. We'll have to see what Cest plays into it here, if he can cook up a really good pick.
I mean, is it going to be Tristana is my biggest question here, right? Because that has been one of the more aggressive, hyper-aggressive angles for a top laner to play.
It could be. You do have the front line in the Nautilus and the Jarvan, and they're setting up for a hard AD top laner with the 6. And you have a lot of kill threat with this Tristana. I mean, this is going to be a game where we are all in watching top lane. It's all going to be about top lane. Bot lane is just going to be farming. Unless Gumayusi pulls something crazy out here on last pick, I think top lane is the name of the game.
Because there is almighty scaling throughout the board, even the Tristana for sides later, but we can talk about it as the comps are rounded out. For now, I want to see where's this Syndra finally going. Is it going to be bot towards Gumayusi, or are we going to get a Syndra to Zeka?
Oh, Seraphine. I mean, that would be a Seraphine bot lane for Gumayusi. You have a lot of team fighting power on this Hanwha Life comp, but a lot of damage on the MIRB Loss as well. I do think, though, in a straight back 5v5, front to back, I do favor Hanwha Life because they have so much shielding from the Seraphine, so much healing. They have a tanker front line with the Alistar and the Mega Gnar. So I do think if it gets to that 30-minute point and MIBR Loss doesn't have an early advantage, they can't have that split pushing threat from the Tristana, it's going to be tough for them. So we're really looking at the Tristana to get a big lead early game so that she can be the split push threat, be the difference maker in the team fights.
It's going to be an interesting team fight at that regardless as well. Let's see how MIBR go through that top lane. As you said, it's going to be all about Zest here. Zest is going up against the Light, and Jack, I was looking through the history, and I was looking at like, well, where has Zest been, right?
Yeah.
And I see this little caveat in 2022 summer, I believe it was, where he played a series versus Nongshim on Gen G 2022. He played with Ruler, Lehens, Chovy, and who was the jungle? Peanut.
Yeah,
was
Peanut.
the jungle.
Wow.
So, you know, Zest has been around obviously through Gen G challenges as well. And you played against him.
I played against Zest.
Recently.
I played against him in 2024. He was in EU, and he got rank 1, I remember, in solo queue. And he was very impressive. Yeah, I played against Feisty as well in the Spanish League. He played for Giant X Academy. And he was always really, really good in scrims, and definitely gave me the vibes of a really good, aggressive player. Kind of the stereotypical, like, Korean coming to use mechanics, out hands, diffing everybody. So I do think that, like, Zest, to me, seems like a player that he's both willing to take this gamble and try to kind of stomp Zeus in the 1v1, and I could see him taking it as well. There's very little counterplay for this Gnar early on. You're just kind of trying to survive in the early laning phase, and I think it comes a lot down to the junglers and how both top laners play around it, because if we can just get that isolated 1v1 for Cest, that's going to help him out massively and maybe allow him to snowball that game.
Let's see, can the CB LOL take a game against the MSI champions? Technically, Jack, MIBR Loss, undefeated. Okay.
That's true.
They've come together, added MIBR to the name, and they have not dropped a single game.
That's true. They're also